There's a lot of really fun people in the room today. I'm stoked to get us into because last week we did the OREF release party. There was a lot to go over, and I rushed into it too. I immediately went into the stuff that I was so excited about, as opposed to just doing a general description. And thank you for Rhapsody being there to help wrangle me back from my excitement. That was
Always happy to do so.
it is something that I'm guilty of doing a little too often, especially when it comes to the stuff that I know like a bunch of people here are excited about. But we're gonna give another minute or so to let some folks roll in here now that the notifications are sent out. We are going to set up a room today, and I can even show that on the stream here of what that's like because a lot of the Discord users don't actually know all the functionality that's on the website. There's so much of it that you can do on the website that you can't do on Discord. And one of them is creating social rooms, like these spaces where we can all prompt together, similar to VC Create here on Discord, but it's made by Midjourney. Like it's a whole UI that's focused on it, and there's no middleman, so everything goes faster. The like you're not having to deal with the Discord client in between you and Midjourney. So we're going to set up a room in order to collaborate today. And to do that, we go to the Midjourney website, so midjourney.com, and you can do /rooms, or you could just click the chat here. It's let's see here. So we got this. We're gonna hit create room, and let's call this the Fantasy Friday room. And we're just gonna do fantasy themed. Let's actually not say fantasy theme. Let's just say that this is the Victor Gnarly character room. And for the password, let's see. I want something easy for people to type here. Let's see. I'll just do gnarly. Gnarly. All lowercase.
Gnarly.
Gnarly. Gnarly.
Totally gnarly, man.
Yeah, it takes me back. I don't want to save that password. Okay. All right, so we have the room here. I'm going to post it inside of VC text for you guys, and then we'll kind of go over how everything is going to be set up here. You're welcome to use VC Create. I just probably won't be checking it as nearly as much. We will be checking it at least once or twice during the stream, but I'm not going to make a big focus of it like we normally do. I just really want to be able to interact with your prompts inside the rooms here. It's also just a lot cleaner.
Is that gnarly with a capital G?
No, it's not. It should be all lowercase. So let's do password gnarly. Okay, awesome. Oh, without the e.
I'll just leave yours.
Okay, cool. All right, awesome. So you can hop in there, and that will you can see there's already some folks joining here. We have Gompasta, Barbazon, Reason, and Reveille have already joined. I troll for you as well. And so the neat thing about these rooms is that we can actually here. I'm going to make this a little shorter so you can see the bar down here. Okay, there we go. The cool thing is that it works just like the standard Midjourney experience, right? You can just hit slash imagine, or sorry, you don't even have to write slash imagine. You can just type straight into there. And I have a couple. Well, we should probably just do the intro first before I get into this. But let's just say that this is an animated fantasy film, just to get us in the right mood here. I'm going to set the aspect ratio to 16:9. And why don't we just do a high stylization just for the heck of it? And I'm just going to submit that in there, and you guys can see what this looks like as we're prompting here. So you could easily interact with it just like any other prompt that you have, but you'll be able to see everyone else doing it too at the same time. So it's just it's a lot cleaner way to do this. So I hope you guys join the room. You'll find the link inside of VC text. So let me quickly also go through. We have the main Midjourney server here, and you guys are hanging out with us on the stage. If I scroll on down, you'll see that we have Kinky, Ancient, Rhapsody, and myself all on the stage here. Just above that, you'll find VC text. That's where everything that you guys type will eventually end up on YouTube and stuff. So if you want to talk and hang out with us, you will what is it? You can use this chat, or you can use the chat inside of the rooms as well, because it has a dedicated chat. So I'll just say hello, chat, and there you go. That's it. You'll just be able to socialize that way. Either way, it'll show up on the stream. But we're definitely going to be focusing on this room here. So feel free to start populating it with all the stuff that you guys have been working on. Slash show we tried to do last time, it did not work. So just feel free to just start prompting in here. Okay, all right. Let me do a quick little intro here. My name is Victor Gnarly. I'm a former visual effects artist for Adult Swim. I worked on shows like Robot Chicken, Moral Oral, and all sorts of other stop motion shows. And then I did creative consulting for a while, and now I'm doing this, and I just love doing this. I love making comics and starting to do videos and all sorts of amazing sort of storytelling that we're able to do with Midjourney now. And doing it in a collaborative way where everyone gets to like have a part in it. We have a server specifically for you to be able to jump in and do this. But before I get into all that, I'm joined here with Rhapsody. And
hello.
Thank you so much for co-hosting with me today. Did you want to do a little intro for yourself as well?
Well, I'm gonna do a short one. I'm Rhapsody. I'm here for a community of Gnarly Studios. That's mainly where I focus my stuff. I have been training people in multimedia things for like 15 years now, and yeah, I'm here to guide everybody.
And to keep me on track from getting all in the weeds of everything.
That's the hardest part of the job, to keep an eye on what everybody is doing and assist Victor in not derailing too much into the distance.
Absolutely. We're also joined here by Kinky, who is the who does some amazing community stuff here with Midjourney. You've been. I mean, you're the one who discovered me and brought me into being. And it's been amazing working with you for the last almost. I think we're almost at the 2-year point. It's not. I think so. Either 1.5 or 2 years. And just thank you so much for being here, Kinky, and doing everything you do.
Oh, thank you.
And as well with Ancient. Ancient Chaos is the community manager here at Midjourney, and we're just all excited to be able to play around with Midjourney's new OREF especially. But it is something that I think when it comes to everything that we're going to be getting into today, we're going to be focusing a lot on fantasy stuff because our server is obsessed with trying to bring to life a full either like a full web series of some sort, probably a mix of comics and video. If it is something that you're going to start to see immediately, people's characters and stuff popping up in the stream here. But I do want to show you guys the server here because it is a place where you're able to not only share your original characters and have us all collaborate and make things with them, but it's also a depot for characters if you don't have an original character yet. You're more than welcome to use anybody from the Gnarly Studios server. You'll find a link to it inside of VC Text. It'll be shared continuously throughout the stream here today. But inside of the Gnarly Studios server, you're going to find all sorts of cool things, particularly just, we have a couple different social places, text chat, that kind of thing. You can see people's finished comics in the comics chat, and there's some really good ones, and we're pretty open-minded to all sorts of different AIs that you're using, so feel free to just hop in there and show off your comics and stuff. We are a safe space for creating stuff with AI, and I just gotta tell you right now, like there's a really great comic from Bert here as well, that this is a ChatGPT comic I highly recommend checking. I think it's hilarious. But we also have this amazing comic from I Troll For You that is a full black and white manga, and I it's just so cool to see us like using each other's characters in order to make one continuous world together. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, feel free to join the Gnarly Studios server and start sharing the creations you've made with your characters as well. But if you do not have a character, you can just scroll on down to the character portal, which is right here. And inside the character portal, you'll find everyone's submissions. You're welcome to submit a character yourself if you have not yet already, and you'll be able to do all sorts of cool stuff here after you submit it, because you're going to basically, especially if your character motivates other people to make things, you're going to wake up and just get comics. You're going to wake up and just see your character doing things because other people were inspired and wanted to take your character to new places. So I highly recommend submitting to the character portal just because of that. I mean, it's just a really cool way to interact with Midjourney and the community here. Then we also, let's see, we have a couple people in chat already talking. So let's see, how many streams do you think you've done now? Oh, wow. Okay, so I'm doing 4 streams a month, and it's been at least a year and a half. So I'm very bad at quick math. So at the very least, we're at like, 65, 70, something like that. It's I don't really take. Yeah, we should actually check how many we've done at this point.
The 100th stream is upcoming.
Yes.
Sounds like 48 if you do the math.
Yeah, we'll see what we get to. But I would love to do a celebration of the 100th stream. That sounds like just like we did for character referencing when it came out. We did 100 characters. It would be great to just keep that sort of 100 number goal going. So let's see, a streamiversary party. That was a tongue tire for me, Alistair. Let's see. Oh,
actually,
yeah,
we got a lot of community members who have their own VTuber and stuff. Oh, maybe there's a collaboration stream that's on the horizon.
Yeah,
we should try to do that.
We should try to get everybody on stage here. And especially with some of some new toys and tricks to get everyone on the stage kind of casually, not necessarily how PNG tubers just kind of bounce around the corner of the screen. I would love for the audience to be able to interact. Yeah. I'm excited to see where. Like that. Yeah. But we'll see where we get to eventually, and what sort of stuff we can try to get as many people on the stage here as possible. But let's see here. We also have Bert saying that his comic was initially a 4.0 ChatGPT comic, but then it was mostly MJ and then edits in GIMP. That's great, and that's kind of a key thing when you see, at least for a trend here on with the comics and stuff we make. We heavily encourage people to clean up their comics, to clean up the results in their work and whatnot, just to make a little less slop that's out there. Midjourney makes some really great stuff, and all the others can make some cool stuff too. But the key thing is that I need it to be some form of human artistry involved in order for me to be this is mine, I'm going to put my name on it, kind of a thing. And I feel like the longer people do this, the more they feel or agree with me on that too. Just because you take so much more ownership of it if you've put time into cleaning things up, even if it's with a mouse and keyboard. It doesn't matter. It's just a matter of putting that human effort behind it. Really, really helps. But let me see here. My dog just choked up on something. But let me go ahead. I just need to recalibrate my little doodad guy here because he keeps staring up super hard. That should be better. Okay. Yeah. All right. So at this point, guys, I'm going to hop us into the room here, and we got some cool stuff that you guys are already getting into. I'm very curious to see what sort of characters and stuff we're going to immediately be messing with here. We do have a challenge to get into that is fantasy themed, so we'll get into that here in a minute. But I just wanted to see some of these initial prompts here. We got some from Ancient. Let's see here. It's a cool tiger. What is it? Ooh, it's like this magenta winter tiger. I like it. We got some interesting stuff here, guys. I love these multi shots of people from overhead. Let's see, a group of fantasy characters playing a board game with hexagonal tiles, cards, and dice from Gompasta. Nice. Yeah, we were playing a board game yesterday on the Gnarly server. It was Zia. Is that how you pronounce it?
Yep, Zia.
Zia.
Legend of a Drift System.
It was definitely one of those games where, like, it can be a little daunting at first, but just like I think the rules took what 11 minutes on a video to explain. Like, it was very long. But thank God Rhapsody was there to kind of keep me in check. I get easily overwhelmed by too many things to think about before, like, I need that hands-on experience to memorize it. So now that we've played it once, I'm excited to play it again. It was a really fun game. Um, okay, wow. Okay, yeah, there's like so much stuff here already. Wow, guys. And I've noticed this too, especially when it comes to getting more towards like this like the fantasy theming and stuff. You'll definitely see some tropes like this is where we're getting really close to Toothless and stuff on some dragons that we get, that kind of thing. But you could see that with Ancients here, it is using this as the OREF, and we're going to be using OREF a lot on this stream because it just the capability of it is absurd, and that's going to get us into the challenge here today, which is, I guess, drum roll, please. The challenge for today is, what is your mount? And what we have set up here for you guys is basically you're going to take your character and you're going to show us what your fantasy mount is for that character. And if you like the result that you get, please post it inside of the Gnarly Studios server. We have a challenge for you right here. I will copy the link to it. So if you want to join, if you want to submit your fantasy mount, I have posted it inside of VC text for you guys to jump into. But for Victor, the guy that you're listening to right now, I did a skeletal dragon. This was like from, I don't know, like 8 or 10 days ago or so. And I cleaned up the hand pointing and all that kind of stuff. But I just really dug this result. It's freaking amazing. I had a lot of fun with this one. And this was when we were doing the OREF release stream. I believe whose prompt was it that was doing the skeletal dragon? I definitely just straight up stole it for this.
That was a troll for you.
That was I troll for you? Awesome.
A troll for you or a Funky Mancer?
Yeah.
I think it was a troll for you.
Nice. But I want you guys to think out of the box with this one. So I would say, unless it's a fantasy like or mythical kind of horse like unicorns and things like that, I would avoid just doing generic horses. But I want you guys to think out of the box. Don't only think creatures. What other things can you mount? So look at Bert's here, right? Like, this is so freaking funny to me. Like, I love this so much. And then they took it up another notch and they put it to AI video. Oh, but the full screen's not going to work for you guys. This AI video is amazing. Like, look at that. That is just so much fun. And it was
10 out of 10.
Yeah, I was blown away by this. This I believe this is Kling, Kling 2.0. So yeah, just being able to take what you guys do, we're gonna try to animate the stuff that you guys send us as well. We'll do whatever we can to kind of enhance the imagery that you guys send us here today. But we have a couple mounts already. We have Tanner. Tanner won't be able to join us today, so I want to do a little demo of them. This is Florentia, right? Yeah, this is Florentia's mount here, a tiger. That is awesome. Love this. Let's see. We have Alistair as well. This is a cool prompt. I just think this is an awesome look for a dragon to do, like an emerald dragon like that.
Oh no.
The gnome slave train at this point. I did find this quite funny. It's always the tip of my tongue, this character's name from you guys here, but like this one's too funny. Feel free to link your character inside. Oh, Festus. Thank you, Gompasta. Yes, Festus. Feel free to link your characters inside of the character portal here as well, because it means that it's just easier for people to be like, ooh, I like that character. I want to use that character. And they can quickly find that character. We have Shoot from Bert's. This is great. I love the little goblin guy pulling everyone around. I thought this was also cute. This is Ko's mount is actually Bert. I just thought that was really cute. That's awesome. And then we have Kravis here. Look at Kravis's mount. Oh my god. It is so freaking. Oh, I did it again. I full screened it. Okay, hold on a second. This sort of fish dog thing, I laughed out loud. I was laughing real hard at this. I actually sent it to a few people that I work with in animation and stuff like that, and they were just blown away by the comedic humor of this shot. Actually, I gotta give credit to Kravis here because this is the kind of physical comedy that we really want to see AI video be able to do. So I think that's really cool that you managed to do it. Lolo has Yona riding on a spider because she's this what is it? There's a whole thing with chickens with her, but it's basically a voodoo inspired character. This elf, I believe dark elf. Yes, it just super cool. I really dig it. And then Rhapsody, I'll let you take over for explaining yours here.
Well, originally I wanted a giant feathered snake, but then Midjourney gave me something better, which is just gigantic feathered lizard that carries a large backpack and riding saddle, and I just love it. I fell immediately in love with that. It took me a while to get the full body view from the top, but using that as an OREF gave me the version you just showed, the smaller one. Where he's tiny and young. Like, not tiny, he's still gigantic. But it's just so cute.
Yeah, I love this. I love the what is it? The sense of scale that you're able to accomplish just by setting up your OREFs right. Like, you know, the thing is, we've always had trouble when it came to showing character dynamics between, like, you know, when you think of like a short guy, tall guy, or like a buddy cop film, there's usually some sort of like scale dynamic between characters, especially in cartoons. You have real short, grumpy people, and then you got really tall, lanky, doesn't have a care in the world sort of tropes, right? It was hard to accomplish that with character referencing because whenever you use the character reference, it kind of duplicated your character throughout the image. With omni-referencing, though, that's not true anymore. We can reference every aspect of the image that you provide. So that means that if you show that character dynamic, that is, there's a tall person and a short person, you'll be able to replicate that dynamic in all your results. So I will be getting into the multi-character stuff a little later on the stream here today because there is a lot of fiddling to get it to work right. Like you really need to get that really good OREF in order to do it. But once you do, it's like telling a story linearly. Like it's like watching a movie when you do it right. It's amazing. And I have a whole tutorial that I've built for you guys today. Okay. But I wanted to show my mount real quick. This is my fantasy character. You saw earlier Victor, the guy who's talking to you right now, but my fantasy character name is Vic. I know it's a little confusing, but Vic Vermin. And his mount for this stream is a snail, a giant snail. And I wanted him to climb the castle walls of Phantasma. And that's what I did. I was just like, hey, he's climbing this wall. And this image was actually 90 degrees originally, but the way that the cape fell down like this, I knew that I could make it look like he's climbing. So I rotated the image 90 degrees, and then I in-painted around that to make it more vertical. And then he turns around and kind of looks at how high up he is, or maybe there's some sort of interaction we can create with these like maybe the guards of the castle are just above him or something because he took so long to climb the castle. That's kind of the idea I had here. And then we have a couple others. We have a Legal Beagle he was running out of a bit of a time, but he wanted to submit something here, and we can definitely use this as an OREF to kind of create an even more embellished version of this. We have Veradros from iTrollfu riding a skeletal dinosaur that's been part of his skeleton army. Oh my god! This is awesome. The idea of like, I found the dinosaur bones in a fantasy world. Yes, I love this. The vines are the actual muscles, right? That has to be how this it's what. Go ahead.
If I remember correctly, that's the magic of this character. He's like reviving stuff, and it gets also overgrown with these vines and purple flowers. We had a stream previously, like 6 months ago, where we already worked on that character, and he had the same kind of flowers and vines.
It was the
So,
Festus. It was the
so
Festus stream, actually. Yeah, yeah,
oh
yeah.
right, that was Festus. Yeah.
Yeah, so when we had like Festus interacting with this character, it was the purple flowers would like come out of his mouth. It was actually the flowers that were the living entity borrowing, or at least that's how we interpret it. Either a lich character that uses these vines, or it's the actual flowers is the character, and it's borrowing body parts and rain. Like I could easily see this plant commandeering a house and turning that into its body, like kind of like a hermit crab. You know what I mean? The if you remember from the original Jumanji movie, the vines that are kind of like the piranha plants from Mario, right? The same idea, same idea. I think that this is an awesome idea for a flora fauna combination there. Look at the big arms. He's got the big arms. Oh man. It would be cool if like basically the characters interacted with this, right? And they were like, all right, we just need to kill it or whatever, and it just like you break off its like like its torso or something like that, and then suddenly other body parts just like it just starts picking up convenient bones to make into new body parts. I think that would be really neat. How would you defeat a villain like that and make a whole kind of challenger idea around it? I like that. Let's see here. We have Alara. Alara has a booktopus. It's that's cool. It's like a mimic, right? It's like hiding. It's either hiding as the book or in the book. How does a video?
Oh, that's just so good.
I love that. I love how it's kind of like it is tentacly moving like how like a squid or an octopus would move on land, but it's kind of a goo in itself too, though. Like you would it's probably just the artifacts from the video, but I do think I could see some sort of like it moves with like a starfish where it spins its little tentacles around. I like that. That's really cool. We had another mount here from Bert. This one I believe is from his monkey character here. Let's see here. We have a troll for you with this Yeti. That's great. What is this character's name? Let's see. I just want to open this up really quick. Banky. Okay, we got Banky here. And if I now hide the servers, there we go. Go back. Yeah, we got Banky riding a Yeti. We got Zero on a that's awesome. On a nine-tailed fox, very Pokemon. Yeah, that is so pretty, and it's very Pokemon, but at the same time, like it's yeah. I love this mount, Zero. This is awesome. Awesome, great job. Let's check out the video. Oh my God, it's going up the stairs.
Wow.
Wow. Wow. Okay, I have to watch that again. My God. Okay. Yeah. We're quickly making this fantasy world very real, guys. This is awesome. What did you use to animate this, Zero? I gotta
I
ask
think
now.
it's clean.
Yeah, Kling 2.0 has been knocking that. Yeah, oh, it's 1.6. Kling 1.6. Yeah, Kling has been knocking it out of the park lately. At least in my experience, it has. We have Hilgard in here
But
with the little piggy guy. Oh, look at the little piggy guy. That's great. I love the funky art style that's here though. Like this is pretty wild. Nice. Cool. All right, we got Drolanak here with a bison character. Ooh, that is awesome. I saw this one before, and what I'm really impressed with is the environment and the scale of the character inside of this scene. And he's smoking a pipe. All of it got preserved from his ORF here because I've seen this character once before, and it's very very cool. Ooh. This is very Princess Mononoke, with the character sitting on the elk like this, but it's a white albino elk. Yes, this is awesome. Very cool. Great job, Drolinak. Floor found a special fish. The fish with legs kind of reminds me of like it's not actually a fish, it's just a dude in a costume. Like it just it just reminds me of those holiday floats in China or whatever where they just walk around in these costumes. That's awesome.
I would say it's a golem transformed into a fish, but only partially.
Like it saw a fish statue and it's like, that's me now. Deek, deek, deek.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it.
Yeah. Great work on the homework.
Yeah, you guys knocked it out of the park with this one. My God, like, and I only recently posted this. I know that I said it at the end of the stream last week that this was going to be the homework, but just seeing it all collected here so quickly from you guys, I love it. This is amazing, and I think that there's just going to be some really, really cool stuff that we're going to be able to do with all this sort of like passionate character building that you guys have been doing. Because like, I do want to emphasize this really quick, which is that there is so much value being added here just because everybody is kind of feeding into each other's lore in real time. Like we're able to collaborate and make things all by taking these images and using them as parameters inside of our future prompts. Particularly the use of OREF now. So a lot of these were made using either OREF or version 6.1 of Midjourney. And so like if we look back at our room, which, and I'm just going to link you guys back to it here with a password. We have the password is gnarly. There you go. So the key thing is that when it comes to collaborating inside of this kind of space, we really want to take the most advantage of what OREF is capable of doing, which is to use everything inside of your image in order to guide the result of the next panel or the next image that you're going to make. I oftentimes frame things as comics and video, but that's not necessarily what everyone does. Like, there's all sorts of use cases for referencing, and know that if I suggest something, it's because it works really well with my workflow. But I want to hear from you guys inside of VC Text if there's any sort of like cool use cases outside of characters. You're welcome to mention like, oh yeah, I did this function was very useful for me because it helped me, create like a map for my tabletop game or anything that you guys are doing. So
I've shown a few bits like outside of characters in the past. I would be interested also to hear if anybody tried the location thing I showed last week. So if you have any cool results you want to share in the stream, do so in VC Text. And yeah,
please
should we
do.
get started with doing some mounts and
Yeah, get
using
it.
them?
Do it. Do you want to take the lead on that, or I'm
No, I
happy.
just wanted to guide you gently towards starting instead of just reviewing for an hour.
I know, and well, we've gone through everyone's characters inside the homework, so I wanted to make sure that everyone got their screen time for doing all that hard work. So,
Yeah.
at this point though, let's go ahead and grab some of these mounts here. Let's take. I'm gonna let you take your own character there, Raps, but I want to be able to. Let's start with Monty here. And I'm going to use right click and hit copy image address in order to bring Monty into the room here. And we are just going to paste her image in and then switch it to version 7 of Midjourney. And you do that by clicking the settings button here and then going from 6.1 to 7. And you'll notice that when you do that, it will switch this bar to say omni-referencing on the far right. So we are going to drag Monty's image here to the omni-reference. And then we've just described what's in, like, this is my workflow, guys. Feel free to recommend other things if you like. But my recommendation is actually to start by simply describing what's inside the image as your initial result with the OREF. You can also do something that we've called a void prompt, which is just to include 2 empty quotes in order to see what sort of basic results we get off of that. But I'm going to do animated film, and then we'll get into that a little later. So I'm going to say animated fantasy. Oh, let's describe the image. Sorry, let's describe the image. So we have a green-haired dragon rider, and I'm just gonna go with that. I think that might actually be enough. Maybe we'll say that it's an emerald dragon, green-haired girl riding an emerald dragon, and I'll put the word rider. Get rid of that, and now we are going to hit the aspect ratio as 16:9. We'll do that with AR 16:9. And there's a couple different ways we can set the weight of the omnireference. You just click this red thingy here and it will let us set a number for it. I would recommend that you do between 75 to 500, somewhere in there. But for the start, I'm just going to do 250. And we're going to hit submit on that. There's all sorts of other parameters that we could get into, but I just want to start with this and see what we get off of green-haired girl riding an emerald dragon. And if we start off just by basically retro-engineering what's inside the OREF, it gives us a good idea of unintended patterns that we might not want to see inside the result. It could be that the word emerald had an effect that I didn't intend or something like that. Or just an interpolation of the actual image inside of the OREF gave us a pattern or a misunderstanding of the image in some way. The other way you can test for that misunderstanding actually is to click the use button here and then replace the prompt entirely with the 2 empty quotes. That's what we were calling a void prompt, quote unquote. Literally, quote unquote. And what this is going to do is it's going to give us a result of the image without any actual like context of the prompt, so we can test the like when we did this initially with Rhapsody's character, her a bird snake character kept coming back as more like a chicken. Like it had a lot more bird features.
Yeah, it looked like a paradise bird of some sort. Like,
right. And it is something that as we move farther and farther away from what's inside of our OREF, the less likely we're going to get an accurate result from that. So I want to compare the two. I want to see what the void prompt does, and I want to see what just generically describing the character in the shot does. But both of these are with an omni weight of 250. If we go higher, it gets, it's supposed to get more, not necessarily accurate to what's inside the OREF, but the more it just sticks the OREF image into the shot. So like if say like you wanted to have the image that you're using to be the logo on a t-shirt, then you could just say this is a logo for a t-shirt and maybe bump up that number pretty high. So it's almost a 1-to-1 to whatever's in there. But we could see here that by describing the girl that's in here, we definitely get Monty riding the dragon, but there's even just almost exactly the OREF it just gave us back. That's actually a good sign. It just means that we're being pretty redundant about we don't need to describe the character very much, at least in my opinion, because if we now do the void prompt to take a look, now what we're going to be looking for is what is different about every image. And there's almost nothing different. There's definitely some preservation of like her belt and things like that might get tweaked, but she looks great in all these results here. So let's start tweaking the OREF result. So I'm going to hit use in order to use the exact same prompt from before. And I am going to write now that this is, let's just say under the midnight moon. It's one of my favorite prompts to use because it changes the time of day instantly. Under the midnight moon, a volcano explodes underneath her and the dragon. Okay, let's just go with that. I'm spitballing here. I just want to see what we get off of this. We could also go with just a generic filmmaking prompt because we did get such reliable results off the void prompt here. So I'm going to say that this is a animated fantasy film, and as long as the aspect ratio is 16:9, this usually does a pretty good job at doing just that. But all these are kind of shots in the dark when it comes to the final art style that is here. That's where style references come into play. And depending on the results here, will depend on whether or not I jump right into that. But we'll see. We'll see what we get. Let's see what this volcano one comes out to. We're almost done with it. There's some really cool stuff for you guys already, though. Oh, man. Let's see here.
I have seen that somebody started making a mount for Ancient. I think it was I Troll for You again.
Let's see.
And Nixie is making a beautiful fairy dragon of some sorts.
Yeah, these are awesome. And you're definitely going to get some like a bunch of heads inside of tails and things like that at first. You just want to get that initial reference image to work really well. If you see that kind of stuff, it might be that you need to change your reference. So let's see what the reference looks like. Yeah, look, the tail isn't actually even attached to the body. It's actually a ring that's underneath the character. This is going to give you a lot of problems because anatomically there's some wonkiness going on here. But if we now look at the result of Under the Midnight Moon, a volcano explodes underneath her and the dragon. We definitely did not get the her underneath the volcano kind of. I mean, she's standing massively on top of it there, but this is like what I was aiming for. Like I wanted to show that she was going to be flying over, but we could see that there's an element to this that is like we're allowing a lot of flexibility of our ORF, but this is almost 1-to-1 with the pose and the shape of it. It basically just superimposed it. So this is the result of the Omni reference being at 250. So why don't we try, we'll hit use so that we borrow the same prompt. And now we're going to drop that number down to 75. So from 250 to 75. It goes all the way up to 1,000. So you can definitely overdo it and underdo it depending on your intention. But with animated fantasy film as the prompt, you could see here that we got some new poses out of it. I think that's the main benefit of doing animated fantasy film, is it just looks like it's a still from exactly that. But with the Omni reference set to 250, it's very locked in. Like we don't really see her looking in different directions or anything like that. It's all very much in line with the ORF, which has its good intentions behind there. Like it's very frustrating as an animator or character designer to make a bunch of character expressions, like your character's sad, your character's happy, and we've made character sheets on this stream before. It can be very frustrating as a traditional cartoonist to see your characters not use those expressions when you reference them as a character reference with version 6.1. It basically just, tried to impose the image onto there, but then you wouldn't really get a 1-to-1 with your expressions. OREF is really good at doing this. Like, you can basically superimpose any specific expression onto your character, directly. So, if we use a full character sheet, we will probably have to reference each expression individually, but it will certainly be able to basically copy and paste that expression onto your character, which is amazing. But let's take a look at what happens when we drop the Omni reference, okay? Not only did it clean up the art style a little bit here, but it made the designs of both characters more flexible, which is important because if it's not flexible, then we don't get new compositions. We don't get new looks and new designs. But each one of these, she isn't really above the volcano. Like, this is the closest one we got to that. So we need to give more direction in order to get us there. So let's do use again. And then I said under the midnight moon, a volcano explodes underneath her and the dragon. This is not enough description to complete this sort of image. So why don't we add more context? So the dragon's wings spread across the frame And let's say that at the very beginning of this prompt, because the order doesn't nearly matter as much as it used to, because version 7 is really good about just taking the entire context of your prompt and like making sure that some element is included. But we're gonna try to direct the camera here because I really want to top down. I really want to be able to look from above and see that volcano below them. So I'm gonna say that this is an aerial shot, and I'm going to say that's an aerial top-down shot. And if you go to any sort of, if you've been to film school, this is where you're going to be like, oh my god, this is amazing. But if you have not, you can actually find a whole bunch of libraries of different shot styles or shot compositions. And those shot compositions is how you control a lot of OREF, in my opinion. Like if you want a wide angle shot, if you want a telephoto, if you want a macro shot, like all these kind of phrases are going to help you be able to create the image that's in your head. So I'm going to say this is an aerial top-down shot under the midnight moon, and it's in terms of the midnight moon, because that assumes that we have to see the moon above. This is where the conflict might have come from. So I'm going to get rid of under the midnight moon and say that just say at night. And then we'll say that should be good. Okay, let's see what we get off of that. Yeah, there's some really cool dragons and birds and things coming up here. This is like very, very 3D. This is pretty cool. And let's see, that's actually coming up. You see that the multiple characters that you have here? This is a result of using a character reference that includes 3 poses. It's not a surprise to me that you have 3 dragons with 3 poses here. So here's how you would avoid that, but at the same time, sometimes you could use that. Like I've used my character sheets in order to get the same character moving it with the background without having to do a composition. I just delete one result from the frame and then use another, just basically side by side for comics and stuff. But if you want to avoid this, the only thing you have to do is crop that image down, crop the OREF down to a single pose for the character. So I will just do a quick jump to my...
There is one thing.
Oh, yeah?
Even more easy.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, the thing that I would try first is describing in the prompt that you actually want a single character riding on a single dragon. That way it understands mostly that you don't want multiple characters, even if your reference has them.
Oh, okay. I see. That's interesting. Yeah, I haven't tried limiting the because when it comes to like prompting, especially when it comes to like I'm reducing my OREF down. I usually my instinct is to go to a photo manipulator because I'm just like, okay, I can do it myself. I can fix this. But I would love to see your pass on this particular character here, Rhapsody, because like, oops, I'm clicking random things now. Because I do think that there is the patterns inside of this outfit. I'm very curious how it's going to understand the silhouette. Her arms are just straight up missing in 2 of these poses. So I do think that there's some effect of that too. I would be curious to see if we could, without using negative prompts, because negative prompts don't really work right now. Let's try both. I want to try both. Let's see. Very, very quickly though. Yeah, do it. I'm gonna
Just
go.
trying to scroll and find it in my
Yeah, as soon as you find the pink 3D stuff from what is it, from Nixie here, it's just above that.
Yeah, found the character.
Sweet. And there's some cool stuff going on with charts and stuff here from Episcan here. So let me quickly, while we're doing that, I'm going to jump over to my tablet. I believe this is here, and I have this to show you guys here in a minute. It's gonna be a continuation of our Spellbrook stuff, but I want to take this image here. This is just inside of Photoshop really quick. I'm just gonna crop it in, and then we are going to copy this image here. That's it. That's all I'm gonna do. And now we'll jump ourselves back over to the room we have. And I'm going to get rid of the full sheet and now replace it with just the one that I want to use as the reference. And then we'll just borrow this prompt itself. In fact, I'll just hit use here and then delete it and paste it again. And there you go. This image here uses a style reference to make sure that all 4 results are in line with each other, and this is the style reference that they used. It's a fantastic style reference. It is certainly like a little more Fortnite-y than the actual Phantasma stuff we've built on the server, but it looks really cool. Like it's certainly a fantasy world, and it's very crisp. My number one recommendation for your style references is, one, the image is complete. Like it is, everything makes sense in it. The second thing, and this is probably the most important, really, is the depth is preserved. Like you're able to look down and see a world. Because that means that sort of fidelity is preserved in what you're going to make next. You're going to see those environments, and yeah, this is a great style reference. So, just to borrow their prompt, they said multiple comic panels depicting her flying on a feathered dragon in a stylized leather custom saddle made for her mount mystical powers. They fly over the hillside towards the townscape with towering castles on the horizon, ethereal lighting at sunset. Awesome prompt. I'm going to go ahead and hit submit on this, but it does have a profile attached to it. I don't really. It's one of those things where I get such mixed messages about the profiles right now. Sometimes they're amazing, sometimes they're not. Sometimes mixing them adds a lot of chaos. Sometimes it's like like gives you golden stuff. I've been doing a lot of stuff without any profiles at all, just mostly so that you guys all get the same experience when you use that prompt. But we're going to go ahead and run it with this profile here, just because in terms of the functionality of what I'm saying, we're trying to avoid multiple versions of the same character showing up in the prompts, kind of distorting the spatial reality of the result. Notice how the castle is showing up in odd places, because really this is like more like 3 frames of a single scene, and it's basically trying to mash all that together. So if we instead use a single character as the OREF, let's see what we get for that. We have the results right here. And now there is one character in every part of the frame here. You can see 1, 2, 3, perfect. We do have a little bit of doubling here. It's certainly doubled up there, but look how cool the dragon looks now. There's a certain fidelity that we get off of these single references. And this is just it's really cool to see that we're able to control it in a way. Look at this. Look how it had the wing casting over this. This is a really cool result. But I do want to say one thing about this, which is that when it comes to particularly the prompt multi-panel, like multiple comic panels, every one of those panels are going to be slightly lower quality than as if you prompted for just a single frame. Rhapsody's is already looking like amazing, by the way. And it's without using a profile or a style reference. So go ahead. I want you to explain this one here.
This one. Yeah, well, I started with refining the prompt a little bit, describing that she's a single young woman. I described her gray skin, the dark blue hair, and also the cloak with the glowing swirling patterns in white and blue. That was enough to lock her character in and basically raise her arms up in the air and do a little spin of her new cloak. And then I added the description of the dragon. That I said she in the beginning. I'm writing her description and end the sentence with she's riding a fairy dragon. This is like the emphasis of the prompt in the first sentence. Then I continue to describe her, and then I add the dragon beneath her, which informs Midjourney that there is a dragon beneath her, right? It's simple and direct, but these positional references help that the characters don't mix and get confused. And then I just added like a description of the dragon. For me, it was dark violet and purple scales, but the original was more like crimson, so I need to adjust that too. And yeah, it's an ongoing process. But you need to scroll down. Like in the last batch that I got, there's amazing stuff.
Yeah, let's see here.
The third one is what I like the most.
It's like a cat dragon. That's really cool.
Yeah, and it looks like, yeah, like she in these she appears to like standing on top of the dragon, which is a direct result of the reference because we have a standing pose there. And I increased the weight to 200 to really keep her. The next thing I would do is just reduce the Omni weight down to 100 and see when I lose the character itself.
Right. It's kind of like a form of calibration, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, every character kind of has a slightly different one depending on your intention. The for like Gompasta here, this is their character reference that they have, sorry, their Omni reference, and it's such a cute version of Gompasta. Like, oh my god, Nia, right? This is such a cute version of Nia. And you have it fantasy anime screen prep of cat girl exploring a stable of fantasy creatures, expression in awe, and the word stable is definitely dominate. It's a stable full of cats. That's hilarious. But it's definitely going to be pushing for horses because the word stable is just it even with the interjection of saying with full of fantasy creatures. I think stable is basically going to have a gravity well of results that are horses, right? So we could try a negative prompt, but I'm telling you, like, I've been told that negative prompts don't really work the way they are intended to right now. But this says exploring a stable of fantasy dragon creatures, expression in awe. She has red eyes. And now you're getting there. Like you're definitely able to because you're adding that specificity that's so important. Very, very cool. We do. Is there a name for this character yet? This one right here. Have you guys established a character for this, or is this just kind of like a result you just got? I'm curious who's the origin of this. While we're waiting on that answer there, I can see Reveille. Reveille has a really cool OREF of them riding a crow, but they've recontextualized it to a blue butterfly. So even if it's in your OREF, you can overwrite what's in your OREF really easily. And that's part of the reason why people get really frustrated with it initially, because they're not used to being able to overwrite what's inside of their references. But it is something that if you do the retro engineering method and you include what's inside of your OREF in your prompt written, then you're far more likely to retain what's inside of your OREF in terms of like character designs and all that stuff, because you could just see the power of describing something else and getting something else.
Nixie is writing that her character is named Galileo Starbird.
Ooh.
She's working on a storyline for now.
Awesome. That's awesome, Nixie. I want to read it. I want to dive into it, and I want to make it. I want to make it a big thing in terms of just like I really really love the kind of bombastic, sort of playfulness that she has here. If you go down that route, that's awesome. If you don't, they'll love it still. It's definitely, I'm definitely getting like a sense of jubilee from her current, like just from the results that we're seeing here. And it might be that, let's see, is there any part? No, there's no part of the prompt that's really encouraging that. So yeah, I just think that the sort of tropes that are coming from this character reference are leaning towards that sort of almost like, I don't know, I get almost like an evangelical feel when it comes to just like the arms out like praise. But yeah, I'm curious to see what you do. Oh, we have Sharts here, resurrecting skeletons and coming at you with that. That's awesome. So you got to hear and we can actually click up here to kind of zoom up to that shot here. So you got that result by saying an animated fantasy film depicting this short white monkey man with short spiky hair and sideburns casting a purple lightning out of his hands at a skeleton that has armor. And the rest of the prompts over it. So let me actually hit use to read it. That has armor and is a horned Viking helm running towards the monkey man from the right. He is clean shaven with a serious face, chaotic battleground, crystals in the background, torn banner. And they're using a profile and raw as well. Raw is going to give us more at least in my opinion, it gives us less textured results, which can be really good for compositing and assembly and assets and things like that, where you don't want that sort of final layer of aesthetics that's applied. But it's also that's my way to explain it. There's all sorts of ways that that you can utilize that particular parameter, but I'll use raw in my comics the most. Because I'm trying to get a result that I can easily just crop, cut, and manipulate inside of Photoshop. Let's see here. We got Nixie doing. It looks like Roxy here. It looks like Roxy, but nope. Who's this character,
Nope.
Nixie? That
Very
looks.
similar. I have seen Nixie over the last weeks taking Roxy and step by step modifying her into something new.
I love it. It's something we always encourage you guys doing. That if you do want to take a different direction with the character, you make a new submission for it. Just so that like everyone kind of has their piece of the pie, right? And I'm just super curious to see this moving on. And see, a troll for you is working with Monty's character here, working with my Midnight Moon prompt. So let's see here. I wanted to see the result of looking down. There we go. It's this one here. Here's the aerial top down. Okay, all right. There it is. There it is. This is exactly what I wrote. What I wanted the prompt to say, which is that this is an aerial top down shot at night and above a volcano. This is exactly what I wanted. But if we were like, oh, the line art is a little weird, the line art's a little off, her face is a little odd here, let's do a variation subtle to clean up the line art. I do this so much with OREF now because a lot of times when we get to this level of fidelity, it can get us like 90% there, but then the line art might be a little blurry or a little off in places. So variation subtle is how we can explore better versions of this composition. And because of the power of what we're doing here, those variations can change subtle things about the pose. It could change subtle things about the composition, but it generally keeps the frame that you have picked. So let's take a look at all these results. These are just from a single variation subtle, and we can compare like her anatomy in place. Like her face is so much better in this result right off the bat. She has a little bit of a different character design with one of these. This one has a lot better lava flow, and I would say that her expression is even a little more fun. But for this, I would probably go with this result here, just to get things moving here. If we do now let's do 3 different upscales of upscale creative, just to show you guys how a lot of times I tend to be cleaning up the results like less if I just run an upscale that includes an OREF in it. I'm not sure how much effect the OREF has during the upscale process, but it is something that I at least I've noticed that when I'm upscaling stuff, if I'm upscaling in version 6.1, they don't look nearly as good as if I'm upscaling with version 7 imagery. So let's just take a look at what the creative mode does here. While that's rendering, we got one from Rhapsody here, but we also have Kinky doing a black-haired plus-size girl, half Asian woman in a red gown. She's the queen of the jungle and riding on the back of a silverback gorilla. This is hilarious. That's awesome, and it's definitely coming from the more flatter, cartoony, like almost like flash art of this, combined with the style reference that you have here of Monty. So this sort of like thick outline, right, is going to encourage this suddenly different color palette that we're getting here. But let's try something really quick with this prompt, because we are getting such a sharper, different style here. What if we took the style weight, so --SW, and we set that also to be really high? Because right now her stylization is really high, her omni-reference is really high, and she has a profile, and there's some chaos attached to that as well. But if I apply an extremely high style weight, then it's going to probably push it to be a lot closer to the lack of solid stroke lines that we see inside of the Omni reference. So let's take a look at how this balances that all out. Almost done. If you're wondering why I'm able to get results so quickly, guys, I am currently running everything in turbo mode. Turbo will definitely cost you more, though. So I only recommend doing that when you like are doing a presentation or showing off what you can do with Midjourney in real time. Otherwise, it just makes more sense to run things in relax mode or fast mode if you got the hours. So let's take a look at the results by pumping up the style reference here. It definitely improved the depth of the shot, and look at the. I think it actually helped a lot when it came to making the line art more seamless with the world. Yes, this is really fun. I like this one a lot. It's very King Kong. This is great. Let's see, and then we have the Gompasta with the fantasy creatures. They're all frogs. Why are they all frogs? Lizard cat creatures. Okay, I see. Awesome, awesome, awesome. There's some really cool stuff that you guys have already pushed with these mounts here. Let's see. I am at okay. So Kinky, do you want to do some announcements while I take a sippy here of I got myself a boba. I got to run downstairs to grab it though.
There you are. I was wondering why you couldn't hear me. I was like, you got a boba? Hello. Welcome to the Kinky Minute. I'm here to tell you guys about a little event that we do on Saturdays and Sundays called Prompt Battles. Prompt Battles is a game where you all prompt the same challenge for 10 minutes, and then you come back. Come back with your images. And we put them inside of something called a poll unit. And once we get that thing in the poll unit, everybody votes for 2 minutes. And join the prompt battle cult, yes. And then once we vote, whoever wins that vote gets a free fast hour, and they get to tell everyone else what to do for the next 10 minutes. We do this on Saturdays and Sundays on Midjourney in the prompt battle room. You guys are more than welcome to join because we would love to have you. We love meeting new people and getting to know them, and we all learn from each other and win free fast hours together and do all the things. It's a great day. It's a great 2 days actually, and you don't have to stay for the whole day if you don't want to. You can leave and come back. You can just leave after you get enough of the things. But whatever you want to do. Some people stay all day. Some people stay all weekend. Weirdos, but they're my weirdos, and I love them. But there's tons of ways that you can win fast hours in prompt battles. You can get fast hours for participation. You can get fast hours for winning bingo with Snoopy. And the bingo games are just based on the stupid things that we do. So I hope you come and join up with us and become part of the community. It would be great to see you. And that is all.
All right.
Thank you for paying attention to the Kinky Minute.
Thank you so much, Kinky. It is. I highly recommend prompt battles, guys. Definitely go.
Yeah, 100%. Everybody should. But Victor,
Do
you want to do something unusual?
Let's do something unusual.
Okay. We could ask Ancient if he has some announcements for us.
Yeah.
No. Unless there's one I'm supposed to be aware of that I'm forgetting.
Oh, come on, you have something to announce.
You're putting him on the spot.
Yeah, for no reason at all. Like, I didn't talk to him much, so... It's fine. I'm sorry.
I guess I can announce Redacted.
Sorry, what?
Oh, redacted?
Yeah, I can announce
Redacted.
Redacted. It's Redacted.
Yeah,
I didn't think you were going to announce redacted for like another week.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm only announcing the fact that it is indeed redacted.
Ah.
But when redacted comes out, everybody will feel redacted.
No.
I've tried it and it was redacted, indeed.
Yeah, I wonder now. I'm just gonna write redacted, and then put my character in there. So
Well, that could be a spicy prompt, actually.
oh no. If it's spicy, okay. Let's see what we get. I'm gonna use Gompasta's character. Actually, I'm just gonna write redacted AR-16-9. Oh no, Nia has been redacted. But all right, I do have a couple of now that we've kind of dug into the mounts and the stuff that you guys are doing here. Legal Beagle has an announcement. Let's what is your announcement, sir?
Oh, yes. Mr. Legal Beagle has a big announcement. He is, he's gonna hold a little event on the Niji server, but he should come on stage and tell everybody.
Yeah.
If you want to.
Yeah,
Join us.
do you mind throwing up Legal Beagle on here so he can explain what he's doing?
He should
I
be
can
able to
come.
join.
If you can't right now, it's all good. It's all good. We'll say it for
Yeah.
you. Okay, I'm
He's
currently
currently in the middle of a loud urban area. Okay, good. Then I will do it for you. So, Legal Beagle has an event coming up on the Niji server where he's gonna do some nice continuation prompt games. There is a name for this that you are very familiar with, Victor, where one person makes something and then another one gets it as a prompt and continues with it. Corpse games thing.
Yeah, Exquisite Corpse. Yeah.
Exquisite Corpse. Yeah. So that's the idea behind it, and they're just gonna hang out and play and have fun. And if you're interested in something like that, keep an eye out on the Niji server of in their events. And yeah, it will be fun. Like the idea is to generate little 4-panel comics. So the first person generates 1 panel, and then there's 3 other followers, and in the end, you will have a complete little comic.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, anything that is encouraging collaboration, I'm all down for.
100%.
Just need to get
And
it
also
on the
Niji
calendar.
folks
Nice.
are. Yeah, it's also nice to have something like this on the Niji server because the audience and the people there are different. I know that from my own event over there. And it's nice to see just new faces and have interactions with other people. So it's the same with prompt battles. You need to join prompt battles, but you also need to join Legal Beagles. I don't know. How do we call it?
Game. Yeah, I guess it's a game night. It's a Niji game night.
Legal Beagles.
Now I will say one
Legal Bash.
for anyone that is new to Midjourney in general that may not know what Niji is. Niji is the like the anime data set within Midjourney. So if you have a Niji account, if you have a Midjourney account, they're the same thing. But the Niji server is specialized specifically at using the anime only results and whatnot. It's all Niji 6 or so version 6 of Midjourney. And you can find it by what is it? What is actually the fastest way to find another server on Discord? If do you just search for it? I honestly do not know. Everyone keeps linking me to things to join as opposed to. We should probably have a link to Niji somewhere on here. If people want to explore a more gamified version of Midjourney that has bots and things like games that are happening in real time. Thank you, Legal Beagle. Thank you. So discord.gg/Niji Journey. So if you click on that link right here, that will take you to Niji. Stay here though. I mean, stay and hang out on the stream and whatnot, but definitely click that or hit the join button, and it'll be added to your server list. And that is the anime-specific version of Midjourney that has all sorts of games and other interactive things that you guys can do. Okay. We in the meantime, we've gotten a lot of really cool stuff from you guys. I Troll for You is going real hard on a portal to anime hell, World on Fire, Ash Nightmare Monsters. Okay, and their
Yes.
Omni reference is this, which is I think
Yes.
Rhapsody's Gate that she posted as a challenge on the Gnarly Studio server. Am I right about that?
Yes. Yes, of course. We have a channel challenge ongoing where I feed people an image a day, and the title is "Give Me the Lore," where we turn around the idea of making things in the world. I'm making things, and you're giving me the description, the powers, what happened, all the lore. It can be as short as you want. It can be as long as you want. Right now, Bert is the single competitor in there, and he's writing awesome stuff. But if you have other ideas to the same images, you can just put it out there, and we will make a combination of all of them and see what fits and what fits not. And this is one prime example. If you want to influence like the world without like having an idea for things, like I have an idea for the staff, for example, but I don't know what it does. And if you are inspired by seeing the image and you give a good description, then we have something to work off. And this is just a turnaround our usual approach. So if you like writing or you want to train those world building muscles and come up with interesting stuff, that's the challenge for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Check out the rest of the challenges too. We have a whole bunch of them, including the multi-character references. Now, I'm going to actually in real time. I'm going to edit this challenge here because we now have OREF. So I'm going to hit edit. That's one of the cool things about forum posts inside of Discord is you can actually edit your posts. So I'm going to say instead of multi-character C-refs, I'm going to say multi-character referencing, just so we can kind of cover the whole gambit of C-ref and O-ref inside of this thread here. You'll see examples of where I took, say, this result here featuring two characters being tied up after stealing some apples to them stealing to them taking the apples, and there's going to be some subtle differences here, but this is what I meant earlier about preserving the character dynamics. Vic is a character that can like stretch to a really tall height. His everything about him isn't really solid. He's kind of a goo in real life, but like the in terms of like the composition of this character, I really just wanted it to preserve the fact that Gnome is tiny and Vic is tall. And so you could see just how much variation we got off of version 6.1 by comparison when we were trying to do the multi-character stuff. It gave us some really cool results, but we don't really see we see the characters evening out in height very quickly. But as soon as we use omni-referencing, it preserves that difference, that dynamic difference between the characters. So, gold star to anyone who can multi-character reference with zero in her mask. That I can see why that would be a challenge, but I would definitely create an image that has both characters side by side in order to try to create a reliable omni-reference with them. In fact, I don't have it on here, but I do have another example of switching it to night for this kind of thing. So let's move on, though. Let's move on. So I do want to show something that, at least for creating comics and stuff, that we're able to explore these characters, have them flying around, mounted, running around, doing all that kind of stuff. But to what end? Like, we want to tell a story. We want to tell some kind of narrative of some sort. Or maybe we're building the reference imagery or the storyboards for a video. Eventually you're going to want to tell the story in a linear way where it's not just snapshots, moments that you find that are cool, but are actually with intention of trying to get from A to Z on a story. Before omni-referencing, we were kind of shotgunning at random points in our stories because we couldn't truly control the beat by beat of our stories. It was always this non-linear way of telling or of giving the visual side of storytelling. That's not true anymore with omni-referencing, and I wanted to demonstrate that in a big way for you guys. I wanted to make sure that we had a really good example of what linear storytelling looks like with Midjourney and omnireferencing. So I'm going to link you guys to a website called comic.spellbroke.com. And what is really cool about this is that I have included all of the prompts and the parameters for you to tell this exact same story. But at the end of this, there is a tutorial that gives you the step-by-step that I did to make this comic. And this comic features 2 fan characters, Brecky and Fungalmancer. These are community-made characters, and this is all thanks to omnireferencing. Because what we're doing is we are prompting in linear order. I am starting with this image here, and then once I was happy with this image, I then use that as the style reference for the next panel. So I would go, what happens next? And then write that as the prompt. Boom, this is what happens next. It's a 2-shot of these characters interacting with each other. And the guide that's at the end of this, I'll let you guys read the comic in your own time. It's very short. You should be able to get through it pretty quickly. But we have a second version. We have an earlier version of this as well that you're welcome to, that uses version 6.1. This is the second teaser. But here is the important thing. If we go to the step-by-step guide for Midjourney version 7, that is just underneath the teaser, I have the link in the text here. It's just above Enid up here. You'll be able to take this. But I'm going to just direct link the tutorial here for you guys as well. And this just shows you the kind of pathing that you can take to tell a story in linear order. We start off with establishing your world, your medium, and your first character with a new prompt. And what I mean by medium is that we are watching an animated fantasy film. That is our intention. So just like how Rhapsody had referenced that this is a still from an anime, same kind of logic. We want to watch a fantasy film. Therefore, I'm prompting for that. But I'm also including the world. I'm describing the environment that I want this character to live in or to exist in anyway. And then I am also providing a description of that character. As basic as it is, I am providing the description that she is wearing a frog poncho in this. The Omni reference for her is just a random image from inside of Brecky's character reference. So if I jump over to, oh shoot, I closed the link on that. Let me grab the character portal one more time really quick. Copy link. Let's see if Discord gets angry with me on this one. All right, good. We're good. All right. So if we go inside of the Gnarly Studios character portal, you can just search for Brecky. And you'll find Brecky. Just like with any of the other characters, as long as you spell it in order, like if you have like a last name for the character, like for example, Vic Vermin, if I just write Vermin into here, it doesn't show up. But as soon as I write Vic, it shows up. So it's a little annoying that Discord forces you to write things like that. But we're going to open up Brecky. This is her submission here, and she is originally from Snoopy. Snoopy made Brecky, and I love Brecky. She's so damn cute. I love the green hair combined with the green poncho. These sort of trends of keeping the color palettes really even like this helps a ton when it comes to making the characters reliable later on. But I basically looked at all these different images here, and I just started experimenting with them. I experimented them with OREFs and see what sort of results I got. But there's one image that I used from her. Let's see, which one is it? This one. This was from Bert, and I essentially the reason I used this one was because I felt like it accomplishes a lot of the it basically made all the core parts that I wanted to highlight with her really pop. Particularly the fact that she's wearing this kind of like robish poncho thing and so on and so forth. But this was what I used as the reference. I just copied that image and then used it as the OREF, which you can see represented right here in the tutorial. The result of that was then cleaned up with inpainting. I basically just, changed my canvas size and then just cleaned up all the little errors and things that I saw using the editor inside of Midjourney. And then I used that image as the style reference for the next panel. So we could do that with anything that you guys just made. Anything can be the starting point of a story if we wanted it to be. Or just at the very least the starting of the inspiration for the story. So even if we went backwards and we made the shot that happened just before the moment that you generated, we can do that with omnireferencing now. So if you have it now, you could follow it. You follow this tutorial all you want. I have the parameters here that you're welcome to copy. You're going to notice that I have a batch run of OmniWeight here to kind of blast us through 3 different results for every prompt that we make, because remind me again, what is it called when you do this sort of bracket parameter?
Permutation.
Permutations, yes. So we have 3 permutations happening at the same time if we use these parameters in the prompt. So I'm just going to demo that for you guys using someone else's character here. So let's go to the fantasy room here. And I am basically just going to find a result that makes me instantly say, all right, let's try to expand on this moment here. I want to make sure that I can see the character well. I definitely want to have it to be that this is a representational moment. I like Zero's character here a lot. I do like this one a lot. But I want to see. Okay. We could do wraps, but I think I'm gonna take actually the result from Sharts up here. I just really like the skeleton that you did back here. So let's we could also do the one, but you're writing an original one for this. So let's find the one with Sharts in it really quick, and then I'll expand on that moment. There we go. This one here. So let's use this as the style reference for the next panel of this shot. So let's go ahead and first grab this image here and drag it down here and apply it as a style reference. And then for the omni reference can be the next character that we introduce, or it could be a continuation of this scene. I would probably lean towards it being a like at least maybe another moment inside of this, like maybe another shot. So let's try this. Let's take the prompt itself. So we just copy the prompt. We'll take all of its parameters. I'm gonna skip on the profile for now because that's again I just don't want to run into the variable of the profile kind of changing the results depending on which profile's used. So I'm going to just use this, and then we're going to say that this has a parameter, a permutation attached to that. So I'll paste this here. You could see that we have OmniWeight, 125, 250, and 400. So it's going to run 3 prompts if I send this in. But I want to change the context of this just a little bit. I want to say that we have all these elements here, and we're going to say that this is now because this is all just describing the scene and also the character in the background here. So now what I'm going to do is that I'm going to say that this is let's go with the same thing as it is in the tutorial. Let's say it's a 2-shot. 2-shot featuring a skeleton with horns. And I know that there's a description of the skeleton already in here, so we may not need to write that, but I'm going to say a 2-shot featuring a skeleton with horns and a monkey. Let's see, what is the description of this character? It's a short white monkey man. So I'm going to say, and a man controlling the skeleton with lightning powers. Sure. I'll just write that. I'll see what we get off of that at first, and then we'll make a decision based on those results. Oh, without OREF. Why is that yelling at me now? Let's see. Let's repeat. Hey, that's right. I did all that without actually including an Omni reference. So let's include this guy as the Omni reference. I have the permutation onto here, and I'm just going to open another instance of Midjourney so that I'm able to quickly copy my failure there. Let's see. Oh, okay, no, it's not on there. That's fine. Let's just say that this is now a 2-shot depicting a skeleton. Let's do a resurrected skeleton with horns being controlled by a white-haired monkey man behind him. And I just want to see what this does at first, and maybe start to redirect the shot to be more like a flat profile of these two characters, so we can essentially try to make the next moment in this panel. So let's see what we get. There's so many from you guys here. Like we're gonna go through a bunch of these. They're awesome. Can I not scroll with middle mouse? Oh, there we go. I have to do it on the left side. The important thing for my tutorial here, though, guys, is that you're using the previous shot, or does it have to be literally the previous shot, just a previous shot, as the style reference, because that is going to preserve the line art and aesthetics of your image, while the Omni reference is going to pull up a lot of the like the characteristics of the characters in your image. So with the results that we're getting right off the bat here, you could see that we are essentially like kind of looking at this shot from a different angle, right? Like the character is, and some of these just don't make sense in terms of like which character is doing what, but that's fine. We just need to make sure the intention's understood with at least one of these results. And we're definitely getting there. Let's see what we got with, and I can see that we have a couple different results coming in from I believe, is that Hillgarden, or we have Episcan here. I forgot who that is, but feel free to call yourself out on here. That's Bert. Okay, yes, Bert. Awesome. Yeah, I didn't recognize the username. Sorry. But we can kind of look at the results that we have here, and this is probably the best one that we have to match what is happening here, right? But you notice there's all sorts of continuity errors that are here, and this is what happens when at least what I try to do here is I'll do a variation subtle on this, and I'll see if I'm able to bring back some of those core details. We could also run this not as an Omni reference, where we're instead just using as a style reference and bringing another character into this shot. I do that in the tutorial as well. If you look, I do it right here when we expand the canvas. So I'll just grab another one of your all's characters really quick. Like we have Zero and this Red Goblin here. I'm gonna pick one with one character though, just to get us going here. I'm gonna do Vic. Okay, so I'm gonna replace the Omni reference with Vic here, and I'm gonna say that this is a 2-shot depicting a. And I have a pretty specific prompt for him, but I will go with a. Let's see, a symbiote. Yes, I use the Spider-Man symbiote because I want him to be a little bit black and gooey and whatnot. I say depicting a symbiote in a witch hat, dodging a what is this? What is he holding in here? Is it just this skeleton by himself? Let's see. Hold on. Is he holding anything sword-wise? No. Okay. So it's just a skeleton with a cape. 2-shot depicting a symbiote in a witch hat dodging the punches from a skeleton wearing a cape. And if this all gets too convoluted, we just reduce the prop back down. But I'm going to go with this, keeping in mind that I have now switched out the Omni reference to feature my character. We might need to do a 2-shot like we did with the CREF expansion inside of the tutorial here. So let's see how this result comes out first, and then we'll make a decision based on that afterward. All right. It looks like it's going to work. It's very chibi, but it's very cute, very funny. We might need to say that there's no lightning going on with because it's borrowing that from the style reference here. But it's a skeleton Viking. That's great. Just a couple more seconds here. Okay. That's funny. Okay, yeah. So we can see here that the lightning is definitely taking over, but we definitely have the two shot that I asked for, which is these two characters. He's not necessarily dodging, but we're a lot closer to just getting this composition. So I want to see what happens if we now say like, okay, I want to take this image here, but I don't want the lightning in there. Or at least want the lightning in the background. It's not around the character here. So let's force that through prompting. We'll hit use here, and I'm going to say that there is, because we see that we just need to find the lightning. So it's sideburns casting a purple lightning. We don't see the monkey at all in these results here. So I am going to just nix the monkey's actions here. I'm going to say depicting a skeleton here. So right over here, we'll just get rid of all this. And then we should see less of that lightning effect on here. Then if we still do, then I would just say the lightning is in the sky, or the lightning is like not behind the characters. It's like above and far away from them or something, in order to drive us farther away from the result of like the wrong character doing the wrong move. So let's see what we get with this, and then I'll react to that. And then take it from there. Vic turns into a skeleton at points here. That's really funny. Oh yeah, definitely misunderstanding who's what, which is normal. There's some element of intent misunderstanding here. But the I think that when it comes to this stuff, you could also just easily inpaint these and fix them that way. But I'd rather get it right on the first prompt, right? So just for the sake of demonstrating this, we're going to say that this is a two-shot symbiote witch hat dodging the punches of a skeleton wearing a cape. I'm going to say that these are not just...
I would add direction.
Yeah, for
or
sure.
try to separate these characters out by giving them a place, like saying this character is on the left side, this character is on the right side of the image.
Yeah, it's like basically saying the symbiote of the witch hat.
Also,
yeah. Is on the left side of frame. And
I would finish the sentence. Like, it's important to separate the characters into different sentences, and then you can direct it kind of afterwards. Like, give them a position and a description separate from each other, and then combine them in a prompt. That usually helps with the confusion, in my experience.
Yeah, I would agree. Let's do left side of frame. The skeleton with a cape is on the right side of frame. And then I'll say symbiote dodging the punches and just go from there. So as long as I'm kind of reiterating points, you can go too far, but this helps out a lot when it comes to kind of building this stuff out, where you be very specific in your composition. You can also use image prompts to force things even more than that. This is a very technical way to achieve it, in the sense that we're being very specific. We also have the ability to not do that and like go in the opposite direction, where we completely freeform these images. But I wanted to first explore this because, at least in terms of getting a little more control, the results are definitely more in line with at least half of these. I think the second image is basically exactly what we're looking for. So let's see what we get here. the second and third seems to be the best, but I want to definitely do a variation subtle on this because there's some chunkiness going on with Vic over here. But I'm going to do variation subtle. But you notice like the crystals are in the background. It has the same color palette. It has like there's so many similarities that thanks to the style referencing, we're able to just kind of bring them all together. It's a limp crystal that is in his hand. That's funny. But I do a variation subtle to see if we can make a nicer version of that image. See if we can get the line art to be better or otherwise more accurate to our characters. That's step one, in my opinion. And you can see that inside of the tutorial here that I almost immediately do variation subtles after my first OREF result. This just to kind of get us a little bit cleaner. And like now Vic has a bit of an odd nose here. I would say that probably this one's pretty decent. And then we have to then in-paint the final corrections of the character. And we can do that with the editor. I'm just going to do it really quick as a demo here. I'm not going to get into specificity, too many specifics. But the editor does rely on using version 6. So first thing we'll do is we'll write character weight 80 or 90 or 100. The reason why is because we need to, if we're going to use a character reference, not an Omni reference, we have to switch to 6.1 in the settings. We want to make sure that the parameter is written because right now, if you do not write this, it'll use whatever the value of your Omni reference is, which can go over 100 and it just gives you an error. So I set it to character weight of 80 just to make sure that I have a little bit of flexibility with the character art. And I want to make sure that I grab the actual character as well. So let me do that really quick. Here we go. Copy. And then I'll paste that into here. Here is Vic. I will replace the character reference with him, and I could leave the style reference with this image here, but I'm just gonna submit this as is. And now we just take all the parts that are incorrect about our character results. So that would be like, say, like the face, the kind of cheeks here. He doesn't really have that kind of Foxtrot, Calvin and Hobbes face, but everything else is actually pretty decent. So I'm going to submit this like so. And let's see if we get any errors right off the bat. Because we are using version 6.1, we could also use the Niji version as well to do our in-paints. So you can essentially use the editor to do this with any image. It doesn't have to be a Midjourney image because you can use external images now. But because of there's technically no in-painting with version 7, it's always going to use version 6. It's going to be using the editor to accomplish that. So let's take a look. Oh yeah, that's way better right off the bat. We see Vic represented here where 90% of the character is done. It only needed one correction. Oftentimes like a certain piece of attire or a face needs to get fixed. But this already gets us so much closer to what we have here. So now I can hit upscale on here. And we'll use that as the next Omni reference to get these two characters actually interacting with each other. We're really close on this already, but we need to have an image where the two characters are showing some sort of dynamic with each other. The dynamic here is that they are pretty evenly matched in terms of size, scale, physicality, that kind of thing. We are quite literally saying that these are basically the same characters in terms of size or dynamic. But if we had a very tall and short character, like I showed you earlier with Gnome, that will be represented in the Omni reference. So let's just give it a minute here to get that done. Is there any other cool stuff that you found so far, Rhapsody, inside of the chat here? Oh yeah, let's that's my /imagine. Oh yeah. Okay. Let's see. So if we also look at the rest of Spellbroke here, you'll see that there is a pretty long tutorial. Sorry, it's a 10-step tutorial for our fantasy series, how to use it with version 6.1. Most of us are probably going to stick. Yeah, go ahead.
I think I was muted. Well, everybody seems to be very focused on the thing you're doing, we're seeing a lot of nice things coming out of Shard from Epsicon, for example, with the crystal stuff and things. And then there's also a lot of red demons and people trying to multi-character omni-reference Zero's character with the fox mask. Because that
Nice.
seems to be a problem in general. Like that seems to be really hard because the mask is changing a lot.
Makes sense. It makes
Which
sense.
I find very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, and like I'm liking how Fungi Mancer here is immediately doing what I'm doing too, and trying to bring these two characters to be interacting with each other.
Yes.
Yes, this is, and all these will be used as OREFs in order to get these characters. Like, so basically, what's really funny about this is that I'm on the side with the mushroom guy at this point, right? Like, if we were to like smash all this stuff together, whoever's on the left is on one team, and whoever's on the right is on the other. But what I want to do though is I was in editor earlier. Let's do view all. Let's see if this loads. Oh, here it is. Yes. Okay. So now that we have this image here, this two shot, let's use it as an omni reference. And then go into our fantasy themed room here. And I am going to use the previous shot that we used as the style reference. Boom. Okay. Drag and drop. And now what I'm going to say is an entirely new prompt. And I'm going to say that this is a animated fantasy film. And this is let's do a extreme forced perspective of a skeleton's fist above his head, above the witch's hat. Or just to say, like, grabbing the witch's hat. Grabbing the witch's hat. Okay. And we could go into more description, but I want to see what we get just off of combining the style reference of the first shot and an omni reference featuring both the characters we want to see depicting this action. So let's see what this gets us. All right. Yeah, I think this is going to work. So, and we have a lot of literal. We're gonna have to drop the omni weight on this, but let's see what this, how it looks in detail, and then go from there. So you can see it again. It almost recreated the exact shot that we had before. Comparing this to this, almost no difference. We definitely got our new perspective, our new composition with this one, but it swapped the skeleton characters around. So why don't we do this? Let's try this exact same prompt, but I'm going to drop the omni weight to something like 50. This will, generally speaking, make it a lot less accurate to what's inside the omni reference, but we need to describe the characters more the lower the weight is, in order to compensate for that. But we can maybe get away with just the description of the actions. So let's see that first. We have the extreme force perspective of the fist now. That's certainly true. He's like shaking his bones at you, kind of a thing. I do like this, but we do need to describe that there's two characters and really reinforce that, because it's not seeing that anymore. So that's fine. So if we take a look, I love the force perspective here. This is what force perspective is. It is the exaggeration of perspectives with the camera lens. We have all the crystals in the background. All that stuff's represented. We could just in-paint our characters onto there, but I would much rather get this right with the prompt. So let's hit use on this, and then we'll say that this is a animated fantasy film, extreme force perspective of Skeleton's fist grabbing the witch's hat. But now we're going to add on that this is a 2-shot featuring 2 characters. One character. Let's see, 2-shot featuring 2 characters, and then let's. I probably want to describe this even more. Let's say that the symbiote in a witch's hat ducks under the fist. Basically just really trying to reinforce the posing and composition of this shot, and see what we get. It's getting there, and it's looking better. Definitely not grabbing the hat yet, but we definitely have the characters separated out now in a good way.
I'm grabbing some and animating them
Yay!
right now.
That's awesome. Turn them into fungal fun stuff here. Oh wow, yeah, I like that Bungamancer. Okay, all right. So we can see it's still shared the skeleton face and whatnot, and it's probably because what is it? It's definitely seeing it inside of both of these references here. But we are getting that forced perspective of the skeleton's hand. It's just not grabbing the hat yet. So I'm going to try to lower the parameter for the style reference. Just we'll use that with --SW, and let's lower it to like 35. This is just a guess on my part in terms of trying to get us closer to there. But I really want to emphasize that the skeleton has the hat in his hands as the next step, because I'll be able to write things like the fabric of the witch's hat is, crumpling under the in the grasp of the skeleton hand. Something like that should help us out quite a lot. Just noticed that a bunch of my text got shoved up here. So let's see if you guys wrote anything here. I'm being serious. I like this formula: shot description, subject description, setting and environment, cinematic and camera details, lighting and mood, fine details. A lot more of Flux One formula though.
Yeah.
So let's see.
I agree to this.
Right. So at this point, I want to come into here, hit use. With the lower style weight, it kept the art style mostly, but we get a little bit. Yeah, I think I want to reformat this shot a little bit. So let's follow the pattern here that was recommended by Enid here. I'm going to put the medium in the back just so it's out of the way here. So we're going to start with the shot description, which is the if I say it's a 2-shot, then it's going to try to represent both characters evenly in scale on the shot, as opposed to necessarily like an over the shoulder or anything like that. So yeah, I'm going to say that this is a I should bring out a dolly list or a shot list kind of examples for you guys too, but I'm trying to think what would be a good shot for this. Medium close up, yeah, okay, let's go with that. And say instead of a forced, so this is a medium close up. Medium close up of a skeleton's fist grabbing the witch's hat. The skeleton. Oh, you know what it is? It's fist. It's grip. It's okay. The skeleton's hand. Skeletal. Yeah, skeleton's hand grabbing the witch's hat. Fabric tears as the skeleton's hand grips tighter on the fabric of the witch's hat. Again, I'm being redundant on purpose. And the skelly, let's do a, this is a, not a two-shot. This is, just say that there is not two distinct characters because we preferably want just a hand grabbing the hat here. The symbiote in a witch's hat ducks under the hand. Let's just say under his own hat, and we'll bring back the style weight. Let's bring this to like 135 and then 250 on that. That's just me guessing on what would be good parameters for there, and then we'll kind of mess around with that. Oh, I didn't do it in the room. Let's see here. I'll bring the prompt over once we see the result. I forgot that the room is right here. Oh no, I did prompt it there. It's showing up in both places, of course. So I think what I'm gonna have to do is actually prompt for the character for Vic Vermin instead, because I am, at least with the Omni reference here, it's going a little too hard on making them both skeletons right now. So let's try this. I'm gonna hit use. All right, Celeste, thanks for coming by. It is always a good time to have you coming on in. But let's go ahead and grab Vic here. He is now the Omni reference. That's the key difference that I'm changing here. But we're still following the tutorial. We're still following the order here. And I'm just going to hit enter on this result. Oops, why did that fail? Oh, because there's two Omni references. Get rid of that and then switch to version 7. There we go. And I'm going to just hit submit on this. If we did this as a permutation, so after Omni weight, I'm going to put these brackets here. I'm going to put 75, 250, and 400 separated by commas. Yeah.
You could also try, actually, no, that's not.
We're getting really good results off of this, though.
Yeah, you could try modifying stylize a little bit.
Oh, that's right.
Just
Yeah.
to give it a little nudge.
Right. Pumping up the stylize will definitely give us like more. I'm sure that there are benefits, but in terms of like the final aesthetic, especially. But when it comes to like controlling these, I like this a lot. I like what it's doing here when it comes to getting the characters to be like more. This is a much better composition than we had before, and it's it's by preserving the fact that we have this character reference here. But I do want to show one thing here, which is that if we add the permutations to the Omni weight here, we could essentially test out which value is good for our intention. So we have 75, 400, and 250. You can use the brackets to force a result for each bracket. So be careful if you use multiple permutations, because it means that you're basically going from, like, if say there's 3 results or 3 permutations inside of a prompt that has another prompt with 3 permutations, you're talking about a lot of prompts you're suddenly requesting to run.
We see one already. The one hat that is crumbling with the skeletal head.
That's awesome.
So cool.
Yes. And it's all thanks to being able to dynamically switch what is our Omni reference, right? What is the thing that is going to be dictating the subject matter or the results of our prompts here. I want to look at, let's see, the hat one just finished. It's a little slow here today, so it's taking a second for us to get these images at full resolution here. It could also just be my internet, I don't know. But this is great. This is awesome. But if I wanted to take any one of these results and say, hey, it's good enough. It gets us there, but we need to, what is it? We really need to lock in this, the character designs. We can switch over back to version 6.1 to do our in painting. But we are getting a little bit of a delay on getting some of these earlier renders. It looks like it. Okay, yes, it all just kind of popped back for us. But this is the result I was most happy with. Looks like having a omni weight of, yeah, look, it's taking a second to just reload the images after I scroll through. So this is the one that I want though, because it's the one that most accomplishes what I wanted it to do, which is for the character to be grabbing the hat and the skeleton to be in it. So let's do a variation subtle on this one and take it from there. Oh, I see we have a video from Rhapsody here. Let's take a look.
They did a few now.
Okay, yeah. We'll save those then for all at once then, so we can dig into all of them because it's pretty cool. All right, so scrolling back down. Oh, this is the wrong room. Wrong room. This one here. There we go.
Wrong room.
Wrong room. But if we now look at the variation subtle, it's like honing in the exact result that we want. As soon as it loads, it's taken its sweet time to get us images. Okay, look at this. This is awesome. Okay, so what I want to see here is accomplishing the goal of my image, right? Which is the skeleton grabbing the hat of Vic here. And so this one's pretty close, but he has his hands. Yeah, let's go for this one here. But now what I want to do is I want to in-paint Vic to get his character design back. So I'm going to hit edit, which with the version 7 image is going to just immediately bring us back to the editor. It takes a second to bring the images all into the editor here, so we'll just give it a moment. But while we are waiting, we are going to switch this to version 6.1, like so. We can choose to keep the style of reference or not. I'm just going to leave it on there. And then I want to grab Vic's character reference here. So let's grab that. I believe it's this image here. Yep, it's this one, and I'll just drag that to character referencing. This is taking its sweet time to load, but let me lock this in. Okay, and yeah, let's go to view all here and see if we can see if these images are going to load for me. Go back to the room. That's what it is. Every time I hit editor, it's throwing me out of the room. So let's see. This should be the images here. Okay, there we go. Okay. Edit. Let's see if it loads this time. We'll just give it a minute, guys. No, not a whole minute, but give it a second at least. I'm gonna take a sip of my drink here. While this is rendering in the background, I'm actually going to open up the room in a different instance of Midjourney here. And there we go. Do you want to kind of guide through some of the other people's results that are here, Rhapsody? Because I am seeing a couple of neat things. It's just really frustrating to me that this is not loading.
What is not? Sorry.
No, it's all good. It's all
I
good.
shouldn't animate as much as I did right now.
Yeah.
I didn't really keep up.
No, you're fine. You're
I'm trying
fine.
to get the amazing shots from everybody and at least animate one of them.
For sure.
But we're seeing lots of amazing stuff from Fungomancer, specifically just going in after this battle scene the chart was depicting and growing mushrooms everywhere.
Nice.
So, pretty cool.
Well, the thing that we ran into is this bug, which is this edit is not loading. I'm going to go ahead and just copy this prompt in case I need it later. But I want to hit F5 and see if I can just reload this. Haha! It worked. Okay, so if we hit F5, if you ever run into that, hit F5 and you're good. So I'm going to paste that prompt back in there just so we have it. But the thing is that we will not be able to inpaint if there's an OmniWeight in the prompt, because we are, every time we inpaint, it's using version 6 to do it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the character reference for Vic here. I just have a link to him very conveniently inside of a notepad. But you can now drag this over to character referencing, seeing as we're using version 6.1. And now what I want to do is I want to select everything that isn't Vic. So he is wearing purple here. I know how to do color correction with Photoshop, so I don't really worry about stuff like that. Like in terms of the color, the exact color of the character being wrong. I can always fix that. But I'm just going to select everything that doesn't match the character design. And then come up to here and make sure we write CW 80 or 90 or something, just to kind of give us a little bit of wiggle room on the art style. And we could take this opportunity now too to address any inconsistencies. If you notice, Vic has just a clean hat. There's no rim or border to it here. So like, let's go ahead and get rid of this. Okay. And then after this, we're going to do a pass on the skeleton to get rid of some of Vic's features on the skeleton here. So let's go ahead and hit submit on this. No. Okay. It failed because of the character. Okay. So now we have to switch this to version 6.1. I will note this about the prompting bar. It will always overwrite whatever is in your settings and whatnot. So if you have version 7 written in your prompt, but you switch it to version 6.1, it will try to use version 7 to do it. So that's why we had that failure there. I'm going to go ahead and hit enter on here. It's probably going to yell at me again because there's no style weight, there's style reference, and there is a style weight applied. So let's go ahead and delete this one as well. Boop. And then we'll hit enter on that. That should be enough. That should be more than fine to get us a render, and it is. Okay, good. And it's up to us about whether or not we want to use a style reference at this stage. I usually don't whenever I'm doing like little corrections and inpaints and stuff. And you can see here we're already pretty damn close. And there he is. Like in terms of just getting an outfit on him, I think that works. This is pretty good. So let's go ahead and actually inpaint a little more, because I want to see what happens if we get rid of a lot of the color that's here. I'm just gonna try to force a new hat onto Vic here and see if we can get the top to look right. Lots of cool stuff coming from Rhapsody with these GIFs. We'll check them out here in a little bit. You could find that inside of VC Text. So
Yes.
coming on over to the Midjourney server, right above the stage, you'll find VC Text. That's where we have our chat right here, that you're more than welcome to hang out and chat with us and see what sort of shenanigans we get up into. So definitely come say hey inside of VC Text. Now that we have this image though, we can kind of get a better idea. There you go. Yeah, some of these are really good. So let's go with this one right here, because we extend his kind of wrapped arms all the way up on this, which I like. Again, I'm not worried about color correction because I can always do that manually, but I want to now get an image of the skeleton to inpaint with him. So I will go ahead and jump over to the fantasy room here. We are going to come up to a previous version of this skeleton, so this one right here. And I'm going to hit copy on this, but we can also use snipping tool because we don't need the full image. The full image might actually convolute our intention here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just use snipping tool to grab the image, then hit copy on that. You can do the same thing on your phone if you just take a screenshot and then crop down to the character. But now I am going to use that screenshot as the character reference, getting rid of Vic here. And we just got to see his inconsistencies at this point. Or it's a skeleton. We don't know what gender it is. We can see it's just a cape and some horns and a weird like doorknob on his head. So let's go ahead and represent that. We have to raise the canvas a little bit for the doorknob thing and the horns. Okay. And we doesn't have a long sleeve or wristband wraps. I'm going to keep the fingers there to kind of represent bones. And is there anything else with the cape? It has kind of a golden neck collar. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of all this sort of flutteriness with the cape breaking apart. And that should be pretty good. You'll notice this also with in painting is sometimes after you let go of the left mouse, you'll see that the slivers get left in between. That's because there's no feathering there. Whatever images that you in paint with is going to be 1-to-1 with it. So any sort of slight miss that you made selecting area will represent in these slivers. That's pretty hard to tell on stream, I bet, for you guys. But you'll see it just kind of looks like there's an artifact there. So we're going to go ahead and keep in painting into there until all those artifacts are gone. Because that is going to influence your final image. That's for sure. So now we have this. I'm going to make sure that the description includes that the skeleton has helmet. It's the skeleton hand grabbing the head. And I'll say now that this is a skeleton. I'm just adding it to the prompt. Skeleton with golden horns. Oh, wow. I cannot type. Skeleton with golden horns on its head. It kind of looks like Loki in terms of the horns. If we wanted to describe a different composition of this to get a similar result, you might want to refer to Loki with this guy. But I think with this we'll be fine just to hit submit on this prompt. And hopefully we just see big skeleton arms and not, humanoid anything. I guess he is a literal knobhead. Yeah, he's a literal knobhead for sure. Let's see how far we got just off of this. That's pretty decent, especially this one because the elbow's in the right place. I'm going to go with this, but I'm going to in-paint the entire hand now. And make sure we get a little bit extra here. I'm going to make sure there's a little bit of a grip underneath his or the jaw here. And it did not get the bones or the horns represented right. So let's go ahead and just force that a little bit here. And we can even write that as tighter, witch's hat. And let's just say that he has horns like Loki on its head. And we could say forehead if we wanted to give it even more direction than that. I notice there's a plus in front of my word animated. I'm going to get rid of that. Okay. That should be a lot. That should be pretty good with just that. He gave Loki's horns onto Vic here. Not surprised. I'm going a little far with that in-paint, but look at that! We got the horns now. Let's see if there's any others that did the horns well. The hands are a little better in some of the other results. I like this a lot. Yeah, we actually got most of the horns in most of these shots here. That's pretty good. But this sort of like swapping between references is pretty important. Having character sheets, that kind of stuff is going to help out a lot for making this go quickly. But I like these. I'm going to include another horn over here. And by including a little bit of this sliver of this gold here, it's going to really encourage that. I'm also going to get rid of whatever this is in the background. And let's go ahead and get rid of the separation between the thumb and the fingers. That'll be like as if the thumb is just behind the hat. And let's submit this. We'll go off of this right off the bat. Because we are technically using version 6 for any in-painting, you can also switch to Niji, like I said earlier. But for this, I think we're going to be fine. Yeah, I can already tell it's going to work great. because look at that. Look at the noise coming through. You could just see that it's understanding my intention of there needs to be a second horn here, because I left that sliver of what looks like the part of the other horn for me. So I'm gonna go. This one's pretty good. That one's pretty decent. A little too straight though. It's kind of like they're about 30 degrees off from each other. Yeah, let's go with this one here. And the thumb is well represented behind here. And there you go. I mean, this is already a huge jump. We got from here to here. The doorknob on his head, probably going to be a bit of a silly thing to prompt for. It's probably easier for me just to literally copy this doorknob and then put it on his head in the next image here manually. In fact, we can use the new layers feature to do exactly that. So I'm going to hit copy image address here. I'm going to hit add layer, add from URL, paste that. Now we have the image here. We are going to use the smart selection tool, and I'm going to smart select just this doorknob. It looks like it's going to work pretty darn well. Smart selection's really I use a lot of object selection in Photoshop, and this is essentially a baked-in version of that for Midjourney, and it's extremely powerful for you guys. So let's show it off. At this point, I say, yes, I like this. I want to include this, and then we'll say erase background. And now we have just the doorknob by itself, and I can now move that to his head. Wha-bam. And then we can extend the canvas up. And there you go. He's going to have a doorknob on his head. Let's go ahead and hit submit on this, because once we do, it will effectively compress or flatten this image down to one layer again. So let's see what we got off of that. And you can see it definitely changed some of what we inpainted here, but it only did a little bit. It's perfect. It's perfect. I do think it would be funny if someone tried to knock on his head and open the door, or like maybe you turn the doorknob on his head and the skull opens like a little door, and you can like fiddle with his brain or what's left of his brain to change, like an automaton kind of thing. Funny. But let's go ahead and select this one. And I will go ahead and upscale this. If we wanted to, I could also use Smart Select again. And I'm going to Smart Select Vic's hat here. And I am going to essentially erase selection. Okay. I'm going to grab Vic's character reference here. Oops, wrong button. Character reference Vic. Okay. I have his image here. With Smart Select, I grabbed his hat, switched the character reference to here, and I'm just going to, in fact, delete all of this and just say that this is a witch's hat. You could say black witch's hat, anything like that. Let's just go with this. And then I'll hit submit. The Smart Selection tool is a lifesaver. It really makes the fiddliness of working with this editor almost non-existent. Makes it a lot easier just to quickly make changes, make adjustments, that kind of thing. And you can see that because this selection was so strict, it did a really good job preserving all this. Like, this is really good. I want to go a little farther though, and I want to say that now let's go to edit. We can go to the paint edit, because you can do both. You can have the smart selection, you can have this edit, you can do both. So let's go ahead and grab some of his face as well and say that now that he is, no, don't open that. Get rid of that. That's okay. Let's just say that he is looking up, worried and surprised by the skeleton hand grabbing the witch's hat. And because we're using a character reference, though, that means that it'll be very literal to what's inside of here for version 6.1. So if we're not happy with these results, like they give us just weird stuff and whatnot, it's most likely the easiest solution is just to get rid of the character reference. But let's take a look at this. It's already like way better in terms of the hair falling in front of the eyes. This is perfect. Look at the eyes. Like, oh, ah! This is great. This is great. Okay, awesome. So now I'll hit upscale on this. I'm going to upscale it 3 times just to make sure that I have a nice clean result. And you could see the whole pathway of how we figured out this next shot. I'm loving this. But I think after we have this one exported, I want to hand it off to the to you guys and check out the room here and all the cool stuff that you guys have been making inside of the Fantasy Friday room. If you are not in this room yet, if you're new here, you can go to the link here. I'll link it right here for you guys. And password is gnarly. Oh, you already got it. Thank you, Kinky. Thank you. Go to VC Text, go to that link, and write the password as gnarly, and you'll be able to just hop right in. In the meantime, if I just kind of scroll through here really quick, I'm curious if anyone else was able to accomplish what I was aiming for. I could see there's some grabbing of skeletons.
I'm accomplishing stuff here.
Oh, yeah?
You will be surprised.
And-
I need an image of a sad Vic on the battlefield that Shard is inhabiting. That's what I need right now. If anybody can make that would be amazing.
Yeah, I would love that.
You guys.
That's awesome. And I see that there is a counting different colored rainbow frogs. That's interesting, Snoopy. I'm reminded of there's some merch from Internet Comment Etiquette that reminds me of. Let's see here. I'm liking the this kind of like big poppy world from Nixie. But I'm trying to look at it, and I'm seeing that I think that at least what I've noticed is that when you get these kind of neon, very bright neon sort of colors, it can make it really hard for the world to kind of remain in that, and you can see how much it just collaged all these colors into different moments. Because like I just think that the reality of those colors becoming something that you would see tends to be like extremes. Like, yes, it's preserving the depth within the style reference that's here, but the look, it just kept that sort of pinkish shape that's here, almost like a sculpture, and put it right into there. I'm getting a lot of like randomness in that regard when we're working with just effects, splashes, big explosions, things like that. And Miss Nameless is here, and you're using this as the style reference that we had earlier. And the mustache on her is too goofy. I like the first one though. Okay, so I see from Nixie also trying to use Vic here to do some fun stuff. But I'm curious if any of you all take up Rhapsody's challenge here. Definitely getting sad here though. I troll for you's getting there, crying on the battlefield.
I mean, crying is not exactly what he should look sad, not crying.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what would be the right
Have purpose.
Yeah, I mean it's there's one or two where he's just kind of depressed, but I wouldn't necessarily describe it as that just yet. I like the idea of just like the bloody one here. It's just like he was birthed out of something else, like I don't know. Like this one's pretty funny where he's just looking down going, that can't be good. Someone didn't have a good time. That's what I'm thinking here. And this is merging these two characters because in your style reference, there's two distinct characters. So it put the skeleton character here. His head is now separated onto the ground, but some of his outfit of, I think, Sharts is showing through. Nah, not really. I think it's just some misunderstandings of Vic's outfit here, I guess. But man, is there some fun stuff going on here with the fungal mancer here, a fungi mancer. I love these. They're not even done rendering yet, and I can already tell that I'm gonna love these. Definitely try to tell some kind of story. So yeah, go ahead. Let's see what you got, Rhapsody.
I need a moment more.
Okay, yeah, no rush. Sounds good.
But this is like new.
Okay.
You're gonna be surprised.
Nice. And we can see here that with this is the style reference combined with Brecci as an Omni reference. This is the shot of Brecci that they used. They got these really fun ones with a with an axolotl, doing an axolotl dance party. That's pretty fun. I like this a lot. And Brecci's a little older in it, which is really good for that's just like a lot of times with the results from the one that I was working with, we got really young characters, which is not ideal. We definitely want to have some control of the age, but at the same time, like I try to not cast children in my comics. But like, look at this. This is so good. For my Troll for You wizard just looking sad, standing on the battlefield, skeleton battle. This is already so much better. Just right off the bat. All these skeletons coming up.
The first one from the batch that is rendering from Fungimancer is looking pretty good.
Ooh, yes, that's really good. The purple is certainly coming from the style reference, including Purple Lightning. The amount of color, amount of purple that's in this image here is affecting his outfit here. So this is an example of where I could take, because we know that this is working well, and there's some really cool results from you guys already down here. But if I now use this prompt and I say that he is a wizard kneeling, defeated on the battlefield, sad face, meditative, the dread is weighting heavy on his soul. I'm going to say that this is a wizard in all black. That should help remove the purple from his outfit. And this sort of reductive, this sort of like procedural method of tweaking prompts is something we do a lot here. We do a lot of remixing. We do a lot of like iterative approaches. So when I make a comic, it took not just making that one image, it took a series of images to get to that one image. And showing that through tutorials and all that kind of stuff it's a core aspect of what I do, but it is something that I'm aware of too, that like it's very easy for people to see this and just go, oh, you just generated the whole comic in one go, and that's so rare for me. I am oftentimes pulling these pieces and trying to make something. And look at this. All right, so the purple outfit is still there, but it is darker. It's easier for me to color correct these results than we had before. I like this a lot. Like, it's like this is how he arrived, right? Like, arrived at this space, and then he looks around and he's like, what are all these skeletons doing, and why are they all walking? And with the crystals here, that's really cool. I like how upset he is in this one. Just grumpy.
Okay. Final piece.
Final piece?
Please be.
Okay.
Here. And this there.
You can see that
Actually, that's a bit fitting.
with Snoopy doing this as a image weight and an Omni reference. The image weight is heavily dominating these results. So I'm actually going to copy their prompt. Actually, I just hit use, and you can see the only thing I have to do is shift this from image prompt to style reference, and then the result of this will preserve the character design a lot more. It's the thing is that a green-haired woman and a frog, googly-eyed. You're describing what's inside of this image as opposed to the others, so it certainly is not going to look like Miss Nameless as much, but it should be a bit of a balance between the two by doing this way. So we'll take a look at that. Fractal Bob did wizards riding a very tall fantasy creature on the battlefield. Straight up Jurassic Park. A little bit of Game of Thrones mixed in there too. Neat. Yeah, look, we got Miss Nameless. Being Miss Nameless. I already know that that this is gonna look like her. She's like flicking off all the people behind her. This is a classic Miss Nameless move. Enid shared different client camera guides and camera movement guides. This is important for AI video, for you to understand what each one of these things do. But let's see, we got iTroll for you doing more Vic stuff. I love it. But with this one, I would probably just do a variation. If you wanted her actually flicking off the crowd behind her, you do a variation subtle and pick which one has the cleanest line art. Ooh, okay. So,
Yes.
hold up. This is fun. You got Miss Nameless and Brecky dancing with each other by combining them as a. You didn't even combine them in a single image. You just used the image of Brecky and this dancing axolotl. So it's effectively going, oh yeah. Let's just make this character, Miss Nameless, where the axolotl is. And I am so curious to see how we can exploit this little dancing duo here, because at this point you're so close to getting Brecky in this image, in Miss Nameless side by side. So now we have these two. What I would do at this stage is actually do a variation subtle and pick whichever one has the cleanest line art, and then in-paint Brecky into those results. That's going to take you miles. So do you want to take over, Reps?
No.
Not yet? Okay.
No. I need to render.
Okay. No rush. You just let me know then. So
Yeah, it will be a minute or two, and then I will send something, and then you can watch something.
Okay. Sounds good. I'm excited to see it. Let's go ahead and see what this variation subtle looks like, because then we're going to probably in-paint Brecky into this. Let's see which one has the best line. I like this one a lot, even though it's a brown frog instead of a green frog. This is a bear instead of a frog. So I'm going to go with the best version of Miss Nameless. I like this one a lot. Even though her grabbing the dress here is kind of quintessential her, I would go with this one here. And now I am going to grab a reference for Brecky. Let's go for, let's just grab the first image we see. Copy image address. And I'm going to select everything except for like everything that's wrong with her outfit, because it's a completely different color than we had before. We'll just go ahead and select everything here, like so. Her skin color is probably going to be wrong because we have some of the skin shown here, but that's fine. I'm just going to in-paint everything. We'll see how this looks first. Normally I don't do this. It kind of makes things look weird if we in-paint the entire character. But I am going to just hit submit on this. That little tiny hand's not going to look good either. I'm going to first just in-paint on this. We have to switch the character weight to an 80 or 90 and get rid of this 250. Okay. And version 6.1. Okay. And I'm going to get rid of the profile because I don't know if that's going to clash with this or not.
I got something. I got something, and it's amazing.
You put a non-joke version. I know what the joke is. The client always calls everything pan. That's funny, Enid, for sure. But I want to. This is a good example of why in painting the full character isn't really ideal. It has no sense of scale with this at all. Actually, this is a pretty bad in paint here. So to fix this, we are going to go into the original edit. We're going to go to restore, and now we are going to just grab a part of her and make sure that we accomplish the in painting one step at a time, one piece of attire at a time, one aspect of the character design. And that way we can preserve the scale of the character way better, because it usually doesn't like add extra heads, extra eyes, extra body parts, that kind of thing. Instead, it's going to just take advantage of anything that's inside the image and try to make imagery that complements that shape, that void. And you can see how much better right off the bat that we get with this result. The eyes are still massive, but I don't mind that nearly as much. It's like she's just like pumping up the jams. I like this one. Oh, this one's fun too. All these are fun. So in terms of being the most accurate to her design here, I'm going to say that this little poncho with a dark top, I like this a lot. This is pretty fun. Oh no, what's here? This is called pan camera. I see. Let's do this one. It has like the most representation of her here. But now what I want to do is I want to take a look at what's different with her design. Definitely fairer skin, definitely big eyes with green hair. So let's preserve the green hair, but we're just going to in-paint her skin here. We could even get to the sides, and I am going, since the intention is her skin, I'm just going to in-paint pretty generously around her legs. I'm not going to worry about tweaking the hands too much, but I want to see if we can get her gripping here. And then we'll go with that. See how well this works. You can see we are getting a little bit of that outline issue again here, which means that her skin color may not change very much inside of these results. So we'll have to see what happens here. She just became Frog. There you go. It's more generic anime character with that. In all these, she just became a frog. Okay. Let's go ahead and fix this. So I am going to come in and hit restore. And let's just put her eyes in here to give us a sense of scale. And this could easily screw up the color of her skin tone here. But I'm going to just, again, go one part at a time and see if we can preserve as much of this as possible. It's like the frog suits from Delicious in Dungeon. I still need to watch Delicious in Dungeon. My partner watched all of it without me. So, and I don't blame her.
Didn't. You recommended it to me.
I know. I recommended it to you because my partner loved it and knew that you were going to.
It's so good.
Yes, and I know it's so good. I know it is.
It has such a great world building. Oh, I love that anime.
I'm so happy that you loved it. Let's see here. So she's got them big boots. She's got them big booties. So let's go ahead and try to get this face a little bit in. I don't like any of these, honestly. Let's get her feet back in here. Restore. I just like the more playful feet here. So let's go for that. And yeah, I'm gonna go with this. Yeah, Rhapsody's basically Farron but cooler. Yeah.
Aww. Farron would say no. But I love her. I love her.
In Delicious in Dungeon, the elf character has been my partner described her as Sage-like. It's like if she imagined Sage's voice actor would be like that. Yeah, I get it. I'm not liking any of these in-paints, guys.
By the way,
Yeah.
I'm finished with
Oh my
with
god.
these.
She's finished. So let's go ahead and let her do her magic here. But I'm going to quickly do one thing here, which is I'm going to revert. I'm going to go. I'm just going to say that this was a bit of a bust on this one. But I am going to preserve her hair and her body on this one and just start another chain here. But I want to take it. I want Rhapsody to take it over here and show off
Well,
what
I
you
have
got.
nothing really to take it over, but I have something to send and you to look at.
Okay.
Well, first I did some animations, and you saw a few of them. But as things played out, something happened, and I'm going to post this in VC text, and it's going to play immediately because it's a long GIF.
Okay. I'm going to bring it over to here. Oh, come on. Get out of here. Ooh. Isn't it crazy that we're watching the cartoon that Rhapsody made while we were streaming in real time, showing this stuff
Yes.
off? Like, this is
Yes.
nuts. This is
It's like a
nuts.
battle scene with two characters in a conversation. Like, this guy's just, I'm gonna take this hat from you, like from all the other wizards, and you don't deserve it with your pesky magic. I have done this 1,000 times, and you won't resist me. And then he's just turning on, boom.
I love it. I love it. And it's one of those things where even like so here is something that I like in terms of like entertainment in Hollywood and stuff like that. I will say this from my own experiences. There's something called dailies where you're not watching something with the intention of this is a story that makes sense from beginning to end. This is all the footage that you captured today. It is all the raw clips. At any point in time you can rearrange them, but the idea is that you're watching them getting excited about what the edit might look like. What other things can be inspired from these. And yeah, it just had Gen AI dailies. Yay, so many notes. Exactly. It's just all about kind of collecting all the gold moments or just finding all those golden moments and then using that to bring the video together and stuff. I like how the skeleton it melts at that point. This is
Yeah,
great, Rhapsody.
I wanted to have another scene with the Shard in front, but we didn't really generate an enemy for him to fight against. Like, he has all these magic bubble and defending against arrow scenes, but we never see his enemies in all the generations from today. So that wasn't really possible. But with the skeleton wizard guy versus Vic, there was a real dynamic there, and yeah, it just came out beautifully. Like,
Yeah, I love it. I love it, love it, love it. Great job, Raps.
again, and this is on the side while I was listening to you guys, and just riffing off of what everybody generated here in like half an hour. Now, imagine if we focus on this. We are at the point now where we can do this.
Mm-hmm.
It's just crazy.
It is. It really is. I mean, it blows my mind that we can go through and just pick up the upscaled our favorite moments from it, and as long as the reference image is accurate, it's going to look solid when it comes to rendering as a video. So we're able to essentially, if as long as we put in that effort, that due diligence to make sure that our reference images are accurate, the video results will be far more usable than if we didn't. So I want to also post this here. We have a couple different results of Vic that I want to keep. Like, I love this one. This one is just has this level of dread where almost like if you look at the sword that's in the ground here, imagine he comes down and he, like I'm almost imagining like he thought this was going to be a superhero pose, right? He comes down and lands, but he dropped his sword while he was falling through the sky, and it just went down straight next to him. And he's just reacting to
Came
that.
first.
What?
It came first.
Yeah.
Like from our perspective, it looked super cool, but from his perspective, it was like, oh no, I threw my sword.
Yeah. It's just he lost grip from it, as he was falling or something like that. It's either that, or you just get rid of the sword and it just becomes like an intimidating moment for him or whatever. I see this as a moment where we can, if I were to go into here, just to show you guys what could be a really cool shot, a really cool reveal for Sharts particularly. Again, I am not a big fan of that name, but I all down for that. But what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to get rid of everything that dominates the sense of scale except for Vic here. And the reason why I'm doing that is because I want this to just be a backdrop. I want this to, like, him to be the focus, and for whatever is intimidating to him is right behind. It's right behind him. So it's like almost like he's gonna turn around immediately from this moment. So I'm gonna say that because his face is certainly full of dread. That's perfect. Let's go ahead and just say that this is a barren landscape, because everything that I am in painting with here doesn't have any of the... I just don't want anything to be like sticking up tall, like trees or nothing like that. So I'm going to say barren landscape. I'll keep the style reference in there, but I'm going to get rid of the omni weight and switch this to version 6.1, and then hit enter on this, and we'll see how that one comes out. Oh, why are you yelling at me now? Oh, it's the profile. Again, profiles, when we start switching between version 6 and 7 and everything else, it gets headache inducing in terms of balancing all that stuff. I have no... It's happened to me a couple times.
The update isn't far away.
I'm sorry?
The update isn't far away.
Yeah, we'll see. But
2 weeks, like always.
yeah. But you could see when I wrote barren landscape, it did exactly what I wanted it to do. It kept things flat. It kept things good in terms of like the shot that I'm aiming for. The focus is now on Vic, and something is approaching him from behind. That's what I wanted. Like, if we were to animate this shot, there's sparks of lightning coming from behind him, and he's just like, what's happening behind me? And then he turns around. So I'm going to upscale this one. And then you would reveal Sharts with his lightning, like the lightning powers that he has in that shot. Some close up of Shart doing that. That would be the next one. Okay. I love this. I think it's great. I'm very curious what you guys do with it, but I want to do one more thing, which is to go back into the editor here, hit view all. And let's get Froggy back into here, because I did miss Nameless earlier. Oops. There we go. I couldn't find the session. Hold on a second. Whenever it does this, guys, like, I just go back and I do it again, and I see, all right, it just keeps making new sessions here. So let's find the original session. It does load up your image, but I can kind of count to determine which one it is. So let's go to the first. Nope, it's not that. Okay, yeah, this is going to be counterintuitive. So let's just go to view all and find the one that we want to use. I'll use this one. I don't know why. Oh, I know why. You know why it says original at this? Okay, I've run into this before, and I can see why on my browser. Whenever you get this error, it's because you have two instances of the same edit open. Look at this. I'm going to swap over to a different tab. There it is. So, and also my cat's screaming. But that's what it is. If you do get this error where it says creating a new session, it's because you have it open on a second tab somewhere. So let's go back. This is the iteration that I wanted to do here. My cat is screaming. I'll deal with her in just a second, but let's go ahead and upscale this one. I like it. Yeah, she's gonna be letting you guys know. I've said this many times on the stream here that she is 21 years old and lets me know about it every day. I I'm very thankful to have had had this cat since I was uh 17 17 years old. Yeah. I was she's been in my life ever since I turned into an adult. Um, so let me go handle her food really quick, just so that she stops screaming. Rhapsody, if you don't mind, just kind of hanging out with the crowd here for a minute or two. I'm just gonna put a can of food in her food bowl. That'll keep her quiet.
I
be,
don't mind.
be right back.
I'm gonna take center stage here. Hi. Just so that you know, you guys are amazing. And because you're amazing, we do a lot of stuff on our server. Like amazing challenges. Like writing lore for things, which I try to promote since last week because we need more lore writers. We need people with ideas that just create artifacts and places and world building. My heart is with world building, and you all do such amazing characters. I think you could also do amazing places. So that's what I want to invite everybody for the next week, maybe. Do some more places. Do some amazing scenes. Also, we started the stream today with an idea that I had, like this homework that you saw with making a mount for your character that had a deeper meaning because it stemmed from me and Victor actually talking about how transportation should work in Phantasma and what your guys' idea would be. And I was like, usually thinking about new and different ways of transportation in fantasy worlds has a lot of implications that really drive your world building, right? So if you don't have horses and you don't have the standard horse wagon, let's say you have little earth dragons or something, then things suddenly change. And now you're presented as with a large variety of like rideables, which I think are perfect for Phantasma because it's such a diverse, like, I don't want to say country, it's such a diverse world that I want to invite you guys to think about it more. What does it mean to have all of these different ways of transportation? How does like the entrance to a city look like if you have a 20-meter dragon coming in next to, I don't know, a cart that is dragged by 50 chickens or all kinds of magical animals? What do you feed them? How do you get the food? And all of these things can inspire you to do new stuff and invent new things. And I think that's a big part that I want to inspire next. So it would be cool to see some stables, to see some, I don't know, uh, airport towers for flying stuff. I don't know. So think about it. And also, just because it's time right now, come to prompt battles. Right? Kinky?
Yeah, come to prompt battles. See?
Yeah.
You want to link it again?
Oh, do I? Oh boy, hold
Yeah,
on.
maybe.
You caught me off guard there, but I got it. There's
I'm
one.
gonna shrink again. So now I can sniff Victor's back again.
Okay. Oh God. Ah! Okay. And at the same time, I'm mesmerized by Snoopy's freaking glitch gift that is just making me nauseous and also and just staring. Okay, I gotta stop staring at that. I gotta say though that Fractal Bob's like this is awesome. I love how wacky all this is here. In terms of this dynamic here, big horns, no horns. Yeah, I love it. We got a lot of really cool stuff today, guys. I think we did a lot of really cool compositions, especially with Vic. I was surprised that you guys went a little ham with Vic today. That's awesome. we do have the show after the show, which should be starting up here in about 10 to 15 minutes. But basically, what it is a chance for you to jump on stage and hang out with us. It is not on the Midjourney server; it's on the Gnarly Studio server. So after this stream here is done, you're more than welcome to come onto the stage on the Gnarly Studio server and just tell us what you're doing. Tell us the projects you're up to. Hang out, chat, that kind of thing. We encourage it. So you can find links for it in VC text. Thank you so much, Kinky, for posting those.
Hey.
Yeah. We also broke 2,000 members during the OREF stream, which was awesome. And just the fact that we did so much in so little time was just amazing. We made the entire, like, I made this entire comic showing off Brekkie and Fungi Mancer's characters in 3 hours. I cleaned up the results over the weekend. Just, I get to be perfectionist and kind of like fiddle with things constantly, but the fact that we made this in basically one stream's worth of time is nuts. But the key thing that I wanted to emphasize here before we get to the show after the show is that you can use this comic to guide the results. So next Friday, one of the things that we're going to be getting into is digging into our previous work to drive the results of the comics. And Rhapsody and I were messing with this a little earlier. I am going to leave you guys with one of these prompts. It's not homework or anything like that. But it is something for you guys to explore. So on the Spellbroke page, I'm just going to right-click the second page of it, which includes these 3 panels here. And I'm going to go to the fantasy room here. And I am going to use that as a style reference. So let's go /imagine. Or sorry, not /imagine. We don't need to write that here. I'm just going to paste the image here and then put it into style references. But we literally love your homework. Well, thank you, Zira. I appreciate hearing that. But I want homework though. I'll say this. I want you guys to explore the workflow that I have shown inside of the comic.spellbroke website here, particularly the following of the orders here. I want to know like what worked, what didn't, that kind of thing. If there's any homework for you today, it's going to be to dig into this linear storytelling guide with OREF and then tell me how to improve it, because I don't think it's done. I think that unlike this workflow here, which is like 10 steps of super refined, we've done this a million times sort of things. OREF came out last week and I'm trying to make something usable for you guys. So I have all the parameters and stuff. You can just go to comics.spellbroke.com, or here's a direct link to it. But the key thing that I wanted to show here was that if we take the comic featuring Fungi Mancer and Brekkie as a style reference, and then use one of our characters as the Omni reference here. So I'll just take one of your alls from up here. Let's do Miss Nameless. I'm going to switch it to version 7.1. And let's do a permutation of Omni referencing here. So I'm going to do -- OW. In fact, I have it written for you guys. You don't need to write it down. You could just go here, hit copy, parameters, and we will paste the parameters into the result here, or into the prompt bar here. And now I just describe what I want to see. I want to see multiple comic panels depicting an animated fantasy film. I know that sounds silly, but what I'm trying to do here is get the best of both worlds. I'm trying to get multiple panels, but I want those panels to be really high quality, and I want them to be themed in a way, right? So this is how I got around that. I just wrote 2 things that I wanted to see. So now I'm just going to hit enter on here, and we're going to take a look at what happens when we reference the previous comic that we made with a permutation for 3 different settings of Omniweight. The reason why this comes out the way that it does, and as reliable as it is largely because we have a clean, finished style reference that's clearly with intention. The paneling is really clean. The images are really clean. All these have an effect on the final result. So let's take a look at what 3 different variations of Omni weight does to Miss Nameless inside of this comic. Because we're effectively doing the same thing as what we were doing when we were trying to tell the story in a linear way, where we have the previous panels used as the style reference for the next panel. In this one, we get a completed comic moment. So the next stream will be focused at specifically trying to create dynamic full pages of comics. But there's a trade-off to doing this. You can get almost an entire scene represented by doing this, but depending on the weight is your accuracy to the character, and depending on the size or the number of panels ends up being the quality of the shot, because you're essentially dividing the image into 4 sectors, and the quality kind of drops with each panel the more you ask for, the more that's represented in here. So you're going to be running variation subtles a lot in order to kind of refine the compositions that are here. But there's some really cool stuff that I can already tell we can make with this. I mean, just approaches, anger, yelling, that kind of look at this. Look at the dynamic range of the character's expression here for Miss Nameless. That is awesome. But if we wanted to go even farther than that, if we wanted to say, hey, let's see what this can do, changing the aspect ratio or other, look at what's happening with charts here from Bert. It's so good at making these dynamic like multi panels of the same character talking. But you can go, if you have 2 characters represented within your Omni reference, because right now we only got Miss Nameless. Okay, Miss Nameless is the only one there. If we now go one step farther, this will be how I end the stream here today. If you go one step farther and include 2 characters in the Omni reference instead of 1, okay, so let's go up here and show this off. Let's get, in fact, I'll use the one from my create here. Oh, let me go way up here. Sorry, it's taking so long to load stuff because there's just so much content from you guys. But let's take this. Let's just take this image here. Copy. URL. Brecky doesn't have fair skin in it, but that's fine. We are going to now paste this image into here and make sure that it's set as an Omni reference. And now we're going to do, the only thing we have to do is to say multiple comic depicting animated fantasy film, 2 shot of 2 people. That's all I'm going to go for. Actually, just say 2 people. Just comic panel, like multiple comic panels depicting 2 people in an animated fantasy film. Just that. And now let's see what the results of that are, because it's been mind blowing for me on my, and I'm going to just show you guys because this is going to be next week's focus. If I quickly hop myself over to Photoshop here is Vic fully realized with this workflow. And I am so happy with these results, guys. Like this is just nuts. Like right here.
These are insane.
I was so happy with it.
So consistent in these.
Look at that. I mean, just it's
yeah.
blown away with this, and it's all because it's all the mustaches. Yes, I'll hop ourselves back to the stage here. Now, if we look at the 2 people with the multiple comic panels here, look at this, guys. Like depending on your Omni weight, it'll preserve the 2 characters in some way. Oh man, it's just, we got some really fun stuff off of this. In fact, we need to increase the Omni weight of this. So if I use here, I'll increase this to, like, I don't know. Let's do 425 on here. Fungi Mancer is also doing the same thing. With Fungi Mancer too, so many of his prompts are already like dominated by greens and bright or like the crystal colors and stuff like that. I think that his stuff is already going to adapt very well to this this style reference that we're using. But I just want to end it on showing these two characters with a higher omni weight, and then we'll move on to the show after the show. Because the higher your omni weight is, the more it preserves the character details, but also the more that we get into kind of wacky land where things start to break and whatnot. So you have to balance these results. You have to make sure that it looks that you're getting the imagery that works for you. That's not too much labor for you to fix it. That kind of thing. Awesome! Look, we got Brekkie in her frog suit in almost all of these. That's awesome. Look at this. Look at all the different like scenes of this forest. Okay, all right, yes. There's a lot of potential with doing this method. I want you guys to help me refine it, and then next week we will explore all that. Look at this. It's already coming through from Snoopy. Showing, let's see what they said. Multiple comic panels depicting two people in animated fantasy film. The scene where they get matching tattoos. Okay. I will pay attention to this room over the weekend. I will make sure to link it on the Gnarly Studio server. But that's it for me, guys. That's it for Rhapsody, Ancient, and Kinky. Thank you guys so much for coming. Please join the show after the show. You'll find links for it inside of VC Text. And again, thank you guys so much for co-hosting with me today. That it meant the world to me to have you guys here on stage with me. So,
Aw,
Always.
thank you.
awesome, guys. All right, well, I'll see you over at the Gnarly Studio server. And thanks again to everyone watching. You guys are awesome. I hope to see you guys next week. Okay? All right.
You're
Bye.
awesome, and I hope you guys have a wonderful night. And bye bye.
See ya. Bye, guys.